Hello everyone, welcome to Babies with Knives. Today we're going to be doing an actual play with a little bit of character creation and agendaing around thrown in for Champions Now. I'm your hostess, Lala Twiddle, aka Alice Peng.
I waved too early.
Well, the gentleman that just waved will be our GM and game designer for Champions Now, Ron Edwards. How are you doing, Ron?
Dice.
Yay!
Happiness.
Dice makes you happy. That's awesome. Playing with me today is going to be my ever-present co-host in the corner over there, Brandon Powers.
Howdy, howdy.
How are you doing? And with us is going to be Jerry D. Grayson. He is the author and creator of Mythic D6.
At the very least.
Yes, at the very least. There's many others that I need to rope him into showing off. And our awesome and dear friend Aldo Regalado, who has a big hand in Supers. Supers Red. So, well then, I'll turn this over to you, Ron. Why don't you get us started?
Since you said your numbers are done, Alice, all I'm really going to do is say I would like to know if I have the following correct. Your character, who I never got a first name for, or a name for, by the way.
I came up with the name Ivy for her at the end.
Right, right, but that's not what I mean. I mean the person. Yeah,
I was, actually, I don't have one written down for her. Let me create one right now.
No problem.
Someone give me a good, let's see.
Well, your character was, let's see. Your character is an ethnic West Coast mismatch, so which is a good thing. So, but that makes me hesitant to suggest a name.
Yeah. I was just a mismatch of a bunch of different.
I haven't. You know how people name their kids like really naturalist, really like off TV names, right? To fit in, right? So your character might have a name like Marion or something like that. That's like totally generic.
I was actually thinking that because my parents were pretty hippie, I was thinking that her name was going to be like Sunflower or something similar, and she just never uses it.
So, because
we did establish that her parents are very hippie, and she's like, I don't want to be around a hippie.
Wait a minute. I remember that you had like a really hardcore, but they were gardeners, that's right. I knew they're gardeners. And I also know that many of them but I was under the impression that assimilation was really, really important for them. So you were like the good daughter.
Oh, I mixed up the two.
Saul is the hippie trippy one. Yeah, Saul's the hippie trippy one.
Saul has never been hippie. You have applied that to me since you heard my powers. I never put that. Straight-laced, business cut, computer tech guy.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, no, you're right. I mixed up the hippie with someone else.
So there's no hippie here at all.
No hippie at all.
Got it.
Yeah, assimilation's
you
very
got the chocolate and the peanut butter.
I know. Yeah.
So my character's name, I think, Mary Ann would be a pretty good one because my parents do really want to assimilate.
That was
with the fact that
got it.
One's Asian, the other one is a mutt of a few others. So I'm a super mutt.
Awesome. And then
Mary Ann.
Yes, and so Saul is Xander. I've got that. And then Rush is Max.
Yes.
Okay.
And then we have but let me go back to Ivy then. So
sure.
What we have is a big family with multiple siblings, at least 5.
Yes.
We've got
I'm youngest child of 6. Is what we wrote in.
And you've got a couple of them that you're deeply committed to, in terms of your efforts and your attention to your mom's illnesses and to your sister's wayward, sometimes self-defeating situations. Right.
Yep. Self-destructive.
Right, and then you also are busting your ass at college. And you're also take on a lot of, the kind of jobs you would expect to, make ends meet and bring things together.
Barista at the local coffee shop, stuff like that.
Right. Now, I believe that you also, I don't know if you could look at your situations. I don't know, because I don't have the list in front of me.
I have it right here.
Do you have any other DNPCs besides the mom and the sister?
DNPC, no.
Okay. Now, you did mention acquaintances who are hassled by ICE, but that's off the sheet. But that's okay. They can still exist, right?
That's, family. That's family,
Right.
friends, and
Right.
family, and friends and
Right.
such like that, yeah.
So that's still part of the concept. It's just not for points. And then...
No, it's not. I have the hunted, 15 points, large organization with extensive resources. Family, friends are hunted by ICE.
Right. Okay.
So it's on my sheet.
Yes, but I'm trying to explain, if it's okay, that ICE, for you to have a hunted, that's you they're after.
Well, actually, in the original thing, you specifically told us that you changed that in Champions Now. That hunted now means that you are affected by people that are hunted. That you aren't the person.
I think what you're remembering is that the DNPC, the value of that is dependent on their flaws.
Then I think I mixed it up. So
that's
yes,
okay.
Instead of hunted, it would be DNPC of 15 points. I mixed the category.
Can I ask you how many points are in DNPC's total if that's a DNPC too?
That would be 45.
That counts. That is legal. That's the way to do it.
I have a maximum
So
yes,
exactly. So your concept is completely intact. So that's good.
Yep.
So that's stated. Good. So that's all I have in terms of relevant NPCs and organizations. Is there anything I'm missing in terms of people and organizations regarding your character?
No.
Okay. Now, one last thing. What's the college?
College right now, I would say I'm going to UC Berkeley, or or I could be doing UC. Brandon, what's the one across the bridge? East Bay?
Cal State East Bay, UCSF.
Cal State East Bay, that's what I mean. I can do Cal State East Bay.
Got it.
That works very well for the diversity angle.
Perfect. Okay. Now, so do you guys see what I'm doing? I'm actually trying to get a list of engaged entities for each character. So we've got some people in mind. We've got some locations. We've got some organizations. One thing I'll just finish for that is to say, for those places, think of people like profs and stuff. Be ready to spitball a prof when we need one. And then the same thing now for your mom and your sister in particular. Really, if you will, come up with some names and just scribble them down. Be ready when we get there and play.
Originally, I had it as brother, but sister works too, and I'll change it to sister.
Originally in our discussion anyway, we had sister, but here we go. So anyway, scribbling names for those on your own is great. Brandon, we're turning to you for that same process. And the first thing to check was some numbers. Are you up to scratch on the numbers at 200? Spot on?
Yeah, I'm spot on 200.
Perfect.
And I have got my last 10 points of flaws because we had me shorted 10 points due to bad math.
Mm-hmm. Right, so...
And that's going to be hunted by basically some religious zealotry types.
Got it.
That are a small group, manipulative intention. And just since, we were talking about that light energy with that chorus of angels type sound effect when it goes off, is that, a lot of people think that he has something to do with religion. And so there's individuals that want to use him for different things. Think about, when the Church of Supergirl was around and things like that.
Got that. And then we also have ICE directly after you. Because
no, ICE is once again, it's the DNPCs, illegal cousins and such like that. My family is here legally, but we have a lot of illegal.
Right, not everybody and not all the time. Right. Mm-hmm. So we got that. We also have the history of the Hillsdale shooting.
Yes,
is a piece of the character.
I was in high school at the time of the Hillsdale active shooter event.
Yes.
And
now, one thing that we talked about that I wasn't actually all that clear on, you did mention something called The One. Does that ring a bell, or is that still there?
Yes.
Do you care? What is that?
It was kind of like the celestial chorus from Mage the Ascension, the touching the one and such. It's not an aspect that he comes from an atheistic background, that he didn't really buy into the two disparate religions of his parents,
right?
And so was moving away from any of that, and then the touching on that, and that's something that was more going to be developed in play than something that he specifically had a belief in. Sure,
but when you say touching on that, are you saying that? What does that even mean? I'm not sure I get that.
Exploring the spiritual connections.
Are you saying this is sort of where his head is at? Is that what you're saying? Is this an attitude on his part? I'm confused on that.
That part of the origin of his powers, like I was just saying,
so this is a powers
from
thing.
that instead of mutant or something like that.
So that's the powers. That's what I'm trying to get at. Just the sphere of what the one had anything to do with. So it's the powers. Oh, cool. All right. So, well, that's my list for you. Are there other people that matter in this? You mentioned sort of straight-laced business type. Does that mean he has a business job?
At the moment, college student, and working on his computer science degree.
Right.
Since Alice went Cal State East Bay, I can easily go at the same place.
Okay. Got it. Okay. That's what I need to know. So then we have the situation with Rush. So if you, Jerry, you tell me if I have this down. Some of these are on the sheet. Some of them are still kind of like, back from the corners. Either way. So we have in your history somebody named Dr. Malleus who helped you out of the lab rat program.
Yep.
And then we've got, and the lab rat program itself is like this pharma think tank thing.
Yep.
Then we've got, and it has produced Rush 2.0, who is after your ass because you're obviously some sort of failed experiment.
Actually, I've decided I'm probably the experiment that actually worked.
Right. You and Rush 2 can discuss this at length, I'm sure.
Right.
And then we have, where is Rush? Oh, yes, there we go. Now, very importantly, working for, I think, a significant news agency, local, or rather, whether it's local or not. I mean, this reporter, does she work for, like, a national news agency, a local one? Like, what's her deal?
She works for one now because of me. Basically, I help facilitate that because of who I am.
Right. But works for what now?
She works for, let's just say like something like CNBC or something like that. Like she actually... a
national news agency that everybody knows and that all the local stations get their clips from.
Yep.
Okay. And what is her name?
Her name is Antigone Quai.
You are never going to stop playing Cyberpunk, are you?
It's got to be something like so crazy, rememberable, and so like stuffed with history that.
Excuse me, I couldn't find the mute button with my full screen. Okay, so what we have is those. Oh, and of course the name that she has dubbed for you with the mask off, which is Max Mann.
That's right.
Yes. So, good enough. So that's what I really needed to do. That's the end of agenda item, was simply to get the nice list. There is a mechanic that I use called the now. Strangely enough, now is not just a gimmick. There is a mechanic called the now. And so I am going to take that information and it all goes into that mechanic. So that brings us, if the three of you don't mind a moment or two, we can move to agenda item Aldo.
All right.
Got it. And so the first things first is to say what kind of person are we talking about?
All right. Well, I have some concerns about this because The person that I came up with in the 15 minutes I had to think about this is somebody that is not at first glance really rooted in the world that we know, right? But I'm hoping that this is a concept that might work metaphorically in some ways, and that we can attach it or latch it onto things that are in the world, right? So bear with me a little bit. I was hanging out with my 16-year-old daughter and my 13-year-old daughter, and I think some of that discussion kind of generated this concept.
Sounds
Wow, I am really like I've got the oh god, here we go feeling.
Everybody hold on to your seats.
Exactly.
It's maybe not as weird as I made it sound.
Oh, so this
now,
is the New Mutants. We got the girl who turns into a wolf. We got a guy who flies like a cannonball. We got this guy, that guy. What the fuck is that, Arthur?
Yeah, exactly. And so basically, I'm thinking that my character is a prince from an alternate dimension that is undergoing crisis, and God, the world that he lives is undergoing crisis that is not unconnected to what's happening on Earth, and he is shunted over to our Earth to deal with it. So he is. He chooses to come here to deal with it.
But he's still coming of age in a scary world.
Exactly, in two scary worlds.
Good enough.
Really.
Good enough. I get it. Yeah.
So, what I was thinking is that his and the source material a little bit for this which is where the conversation with my daughters took place, is Star versus the Forces of Evil, if you know the cartoon.
This has actually been mentioned to me. You are the second Champions Now character maker.
Really?
Yes, who has drawn on this show. Something tells me my 11-year-old daughter needs to have this.
I've never seen it, but I've heard a few people mention it. Oh, okay. Apparently, Brandon says I have. I blocked it out of my memory.
So in that show, Star is a princess whose parents are good people, and their kingdom is in threat. For my character, I was thinking that he's a prince whose kingdom is not in threat, but I was thinking that his parents are actually kind of evil tyrants.
Fine. Okay, so good enough. Let's talk about princeness in terms of being a person. What does he look like and act like? Because he's this otherworldly prince. What is that?
Yes. Okay. Well, what he looks like, I am still trying to figure out. I'm kind of bouncing between something as alien looking, let's say, as Starfire, or something as not alien looking as Kal-El.
Okay,
right?
so you're playing over there. Okay, now it's bounced to another corner. As soon as we discover iffiness, we go to another corner. So, what do we see in terms of problems? That strikes me as relevant.
Yeah, so problems, I mean, obviously, if he's going to be in this strange new world, just...
Classic fish out of water situation there.
Fish out of water, right, very simply, right?
What about value system?
Yeah, well, his value system in some way is shaped by the situation with his parents, right?
So is he seeking like a positive parent? He's looking for a good dad, that kind of thing?
Looking for a good, looking for a good alternative value system.
Got it.
Right.
Got it. Right.
If I get a little autobiographical from this, or at least draw my own dad. Right. My dad grew up in Cuba. He was born in the 1930s. By the time he was a young man, he was kind of living in this world where what he saw for male culture in Cuba was that it was, extremely. He wouldn't have had the language back then, but, extremely sexist and extremely predatory with regards to women, and that he was being encouraged to behave that way, but something in his gut told him that was just stupid and wrong, and he was kind of, throughout his puberty, right, he was trying to find an alternate belief system.
Right. I totally get this, yeah.
Ultimately, what he latched onto was the Catholic Church, which just... more because of the value system than anything else. It just like clicked with him, and he found something then he could believe in. So I'm picturing that my character grew up in a family where it's might is right. He probably has an older brother who is a conqueror, and that he himself was seen as kind of a disappointment for not really buying into that. And he's looking at does this have to be the way that we are? I mean, this is just the normative, but does it have to be?
Right. Okay. You can probably find up with a nice catchphrase for that particular psychological limitation pretty easily.
Yeah.
So,
Aldo, why don't you go conquer a dimension like your brother?
So, there's something I follow. I joke about the fact that most people go, "What would so and so do?" And there are specific people in my life that I look to them and I go, "What would they not do?" I would do whatever basically the opposite of that.
Yeah, that's a good. Yeah.
That's a way of doing it. Whatever they would do the opposite.
Right.
Well, so that's we're getting somewhere. You can play a little more with. I will point out that as happened for another character in the previous round of this, unusual looks this is something that actually we never talked about with this particular group. So everybody may be interested in this. Unusual looks is a visceral response that people have to you, and it's usually an emotion, and it's not a good one. And so it's that the generic distinctive looks that they've got in the hero system. No, we're talking about something very specific. It's an aversive response. Second, it is used, despite the name, it doesn't have to be associated specifically with appearance. Although they respond to you as if it were appearance. Right? So therefore... that's why in comics you can have an alien character who's like only one detail off from normal, from human, and everybody reacts as if it's the most horrifying, distressing thing ever.
He is black on the left side.
Yeah, exactly, right? And then, or on the other hand, you have a character who's a 7'2", 3-eyed purple dude, and nobody blinks. They just completely act toward him like he's a guy. And that's because the one has unusual looks and the other one doesn't. And so that's the way to go with it. So if you took unusual looks, it wouldn't dictate the extremity of the objective looks. It does dictate the extremity of the response.
Right.
So, and so it kind of frees you up, right, in terms of concept. And how you want it to play. Sometimes you do want to play like a fuzzy alien ball who floats there at human height and, makes peeping noises, and yet everybody sort of understands him. And you don't want unusual looks. You want a fun little alien buddy, period. Right? And so other times you want the full range, right? 14 or less, all right? Unusual looks. Why? I don't know. I got pointed ears, but okay, I just want it. So, so that's cool. So good enough. Those are some things to consider as we bump along in the problems. And let's go to maybe an overlap there. How is this guy living in today's world?
Yeah, that's what I was kind of. That's what I was sort of asking myself that question before I logged on, right? And I'm thinking that there might be some familiarity, not a deep familiarity, but that it's not, because I'm thinking that the parents have designs on Earth, and they've chosen the slow mode of conquest. Like basically, let's say 5 decades ago, sent.
Beautiful. Okay, so am I getting? I don't want to extrapolate from what you're saying. I'd rather let you say it, but go to the prince. What does that mean for him about the way he's living on Earth?
Yeah. Well, he. Okay, let's see.
Does he have a job? Is he living day to day? He knows how to do that?
No, I'm not sure that he does. I think he may have been able to bring enough resources to to get a place and to set up a home base while he figures it out. So it's, you know, he knows that there's a mode of currency. He knows something about.
Well, they've got 4 or 5 decades of research and reconnaissance.
Yeah, exactly.
You're going to have enough data file to function. You can go and buy a cup of coffee, right? And so,
exactly.
Yeah.
And so he's able to kind of like get an apartment, start to set up a life.
Does he have like a false credit rating that has been inserted into the system? That kind of thing?
Yeah, we could do that.
It makes sense.
We could do that.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, we could do that.
Got it. All right. So kind of with that sort of thing in mind, it's time for you to think about your powers. Can you take just a couple 3 minutes to do that kind of on your own while I go back to our patient sufferers?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
So,
Not suffering. I'm enjoying listening to this.
Excellent.
This
So
is part of the experience.
I think so too. Now, Jerry, one thing that you probably remember from the video with Brandon and Alice was that they saw themselves, at least provisionally, looking at the 2 characters, they said, wow, we are not crime fighters. We are seeking, it's like we're just old enough to have figured out that there are systemic problems going on here. Right? There's systemic problems happening in society. There's a reason that we're screwed economically. There's a reason that, you know, even if I go and become like this business exec with my degree, even if I go and become, you know, the hot computer programmer and somehow beat out all the other little hot computer programmers, and I'm the next Steve Jobs or whatever, so what? Right? This world is fucked. Look at all the people who got screwed so I could do this. Look how I would have to turn my back on everybody that ICE is hammering so I don't get tarred with it when they run their checks on me. Right? And Brandon, am I kind of speaking for your character at least okay at that point? I'm paraphrasing.
That was actually Alice, and I said that I can go with that.
Okay. I know, but what I'm saying is I'm going with it on the basis of you saying you could go with it. Having established that is what I'm paraphrasing, at least somewhere in the right zone for Saul.
Paraphrased.
What was that, Alice?
Go ahead, Brandon.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, that's what I think that Alice presented, and so that we were going with.
Okay. So, therefore, Jerry, this is the kind of thing that their characters are teaming up about. And so they're definitely not associated with any government organization. They're definitely not, you know, hooked up with the cops as deputies. They're not any of that. And they live super secret identity lives. Like super secret identity. When the heroes appear, nobody knows who they are. Yeah, well, or they're getting that way. Yeah, thinking about where to put the hammer down.
Well,
where society
looking
needs
for a
it.
source of hope, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what most comic books are about. The messed up world that we live in, and so this point, looking for a point of hope. Sounds like if you're going to be more, you know, I'm a superhero. You could be my mentor. I don't know about Brandon, but you could totally be my mentor.
Well, in the case of Jerry's situation is also kind of interesting in that he too is leading a very deeply secret life, secret ID life. And so, anyway, Jerry, that's where they were going with this. Let me see if I'm on the right track. Maybe taking too much of the steering wheel right now. But if I'm on the right track from what you told me, Antigone really likes the idea of setting you up as a save-the-day superhero that she gets the scoop on.
Right.
And so the thing is, I mean, you, by definition, we're playing a superhero team. Antigone has to live with the fact that you work with these people.
Right.
And so the utterly establishment superhero that might be the easiest for her plot isn't going to happen.
Right.
And it also could be that maybe she's not totally mercenary. Maybe she kind of likes this kind of thing herself.
Yeah, she could be in on it. She could absolutely, because now, like, you know, with those statements and stuff that, you know, that you guys are kind of subversive.
Maybe she's good enough to have figured out who they are or on the right track.
Right. And yeah, like now I'm starting to think like we are like some type of underground, almost punk rock superheroes who have like an agenda. So there's the public face, but on the underneath, we're sticking it to the man.
Well, I think Alice wasn't interested in a public face. I think she was just sticking it to the man. But
the thing is that my character has to have that public face.
Right.
But on the other hand, he's doing all like kinds of like probably weird subversive stuff because maybe he sees
Got it. Okay, that makes sense. That makes sense. And then Antigone's kind of in on this, and so it's not like you have to hide it from her. Right.
In fact, she might be a reporter, but also like an anarchist.
Right.
She might be trying to subvert as well by showing the sour underbelly.
So I think there's a slight misunderstanding as we're going, because what I said was I want to help people, but I'm not trying to stick it to the man. What I was saying is that I'm disillusioned with the situation that we are in,
right.
And so that's why I said I'm looking for a source of hope. So we don't need to have the sticking it to the man, as far as I'm concerned.
Right.
I can't speak for anybody else.
Right. Remember, different personal spins is good. Different personal spins, yeah.
Just the sticking it to the man that was never part of my concept. It was everything that I see now is systemically wrong.
Right.
So how do I change it? How do I?
Right.
Where can I find hope? That's what I wanted to be.
Perfect.
So are you going to work within the system to do it, or are you going to work outside?
Maybe we'll find that out.
Yeah, that's going to be a matter of finding out for me.
So cool.
Right now, I see what the system doesn't work. So if you teach me that we can work within the system, I'm a kid. Well, kid-ish. I'm, in college.
Yeah, all of you are still finding your place as adults. That's for sure. That's our statement.
Yeah, and
exactly.
The way that I remember it is like Kamala Khan in The Champions, that trying to find a better way for the world to work.
Right.
That's actually a good reference for the character that I wanted to be, is that kind of perspective, because she also notices that a lot of stuff is wrong with the way things are currently.
Okay.
So Ms. Marvel, a magnificent Ms. Marvel, Kamala Khan works well as a reference for me.
Okay.
She's also that person of color with a mixed race spit. So.
Right, I was going to say there's some strong stuff there now that I think about it. So Aldo, how are we doing on some Powers thoughts?
I was thinking that the powers mostly come from an object of power that is actually we want to think Mjolnir-ish, right? But something that comes from his from his deep heritage, something that was lost generations ago, that kind of offered a different way. So probably a mace of some sort, like a that's ornamental to some degree, but has it's ornamented. It's not ornamental, but it's a mace that wields powers of light. And that the light can have, effects other than just, that there are some magical effects which
you can hit people with it, but that's not just what it's for. You hold it up and cool shit happens of some sort.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
Now, do you see him able to fly about? Do you see him able to go places with it? Does he operate? Can he travel at a scale higher than ordinary?
Yeah, I'm thinking maybe one of the things that it does is teleportation. Originally, when I was thinking about him, I was thinking about kind of going with an object of a power that was more like a maybe even a suit of armor or something like that, and that I would give him kind of Supermanish powers. But then when I started to shift to the mace, and I started to think, well, he's kind of transporting from dimensions, that maybe it allows him to sidestep dimensions, and therefore teleport essentially that way.
Sure. I think that sounds like a great idea, and it also has room for build as we go along, particularly because one of the big features of this system is the important advantage expanded scope. So if we go back to the character you made before, Gavilan, he had all this like superpowered drone stuff going on. And one of the things that we never did a build for him because you weren't the first comer in that process. But if we did, I would have suggested taking some form of awareness, the power awareness, and give it expanded scope, which means that you could actually apply it to a substantial area.
Okay, cool.
And so this is how I get away from Jerry. This is how I get away from DC Heroes.
Okay.
Right? When you get, if we think, for example, of travel, it can apply to perception and it can apply to travel. But if you take that concept, getting more points doesn't get you scaling up all the way through the top levels of travel in comics.
Right.
It operates at a certain scope. If you just get basic flight, basic teleport, basic awareness, it will never be for anything at your points. It will never be for anything except for the immediate area. You can use it to get from place to place, but we have to go off system to do it, and you're not going to do it in the context of a fight.
Right.
Right. And so
it happens. It happens like between panels.
Right. Well, not only that, but you're not going to get any really big benefit from being able to fly if you have to go from here across the city, because your flight, in terms of its speed, is a local thing.
Right.
So, I mean, you can do it, but you're out of the story for a while. You're up there flying somewhere. So, but if you want to say, hey, I got to get over there, and I got to get over there fast, and I got to be like the fast flyer who can make it across the city, you need another flight which is at that scope.
Right.
Okay.
And so that way, that's how you get different concepts of moving around. I mean, if you look at the original Nightcrawler, he just had a real situational teleport. It was only later that he started teleporting across cities and all sorts of weird shit like that. So, so it's the same kind of concept. So what I'm saying is that for Gavilan, I would have suggested a significant scope for the awareness. You could actually just check in your drone, zoop, and you say, yeah, that's happening in this neighborhood.
Right.
Why? They're out there, man. They're just out there. Your fucking drones are out there. So the deal is that for him, therefore, for this guy, I'm not suggesting it as a starting point unless you want it, but having a regional teleport is actually a pretty fucking cool thing. Yeah. That's where you said, by definition, you can teleport pretty far. Yeah. But now that you'd have to think about whether you would want situational immediate teleport too, because if you didn't have it, you don't have it. If you don't have it, you can't do shit like grab the bad guy and teleport him somewhere. You just can't.
Sure.
So
that makes sense.
Yeah. So you can really fine grain exactly how you want the teleport to work, which scopes actually work. Notice that dimensions are a scope. So if you want to teleport, if you want to travel in different dimensions and have that be part of your character, I'm not saying you do, right? But if you did eventually, no problem. Get that travel with that scope.
That makes sense, yeah.
So that way we don't have to worry about, I mean, DC Heroes already did the job of taking up point by point by point by point by point until you get from walking across the street to teleporting across the universe. They already did that. I'm not doing that here. So cool. And we get away from the whole problem of trying to figure out how many hexes per phase turns into how many miles per hour for a cross country. We don't have to do that shit at all.
Right. That makes sense. Yeah. That's good.
So,
Aldo, since you mentioned a mace, I might think Morning Star, just because at that point that could be, the Morning Star Empire, and that could be your superhero moniker as well.
It is pretty nice.
That is pretty cool, yeah. Yeah.
And then your logo could be like the North Star.
Yeah.
Because it's a good sign for hope, and it's morning, and just all that. So the North Star works pretty well for you as your thing.
Yeah. That's cool.
Yeah, all the religious groups are really going to like that one too.
Yeah.
True. You'll have to have a supervillain called Wormwood.
That's right. So now let's take a look at. This is an interesting question for your dude. While you're thinking about, okay, for you to think about, you hold up your mace. The light gleams in all the different directions. Of course, the beams shooting out from the little spikes in all the different directions, right? And so when that happens, the question is, what shit happens to people and situations when you do that?
Yes.
So while you're kind of thinking about that, here's the other thing. Let's go back to the problems. We've got that he's kind of the fish out of water, but he's kind of got that handled, more or less. And then you have the situation. You talked about the wicked sibling. Do you care enough to can we just let the wicked sibling live over there and do his atrocities, and you just kind of mope about it once in a while, or is the wicked sibling on task regarding you? That's up to you.
Well,
you need to say whether you want that guy involved.
Yeah. I think I want him involved. And certainly involved in the next phase of whatever they have planned for Earth, right?
Yeah.
So if it's not actually hunting him, which he may be, but it would also be like that my guy is interested in stopping his moves.
Are your wicked tyrant parents / society? Are there activities on Earth in the last 50 years related to any earthly organizations and priorities? In other words, are they working with allies here, knowingly or unknowingly?
Yeah, I think I would like for that to happen. And, it's kind of like if we think about the kind of cosmic connection between like Darkseid and Intergang, right, and that sort of thing. But I was thinking like that they basically it's like if we can weaken whatever cohesion exists in society, they'll seed people. So I have no problem with, like, for instance,
so name a group.
Trump-like politicians being basically, I'm thinking of like think of my character's parents as like kind of like Russian oligarchs, right? In some way, right? Like, that they might have fingers in the media world, that they might have fingers in the political world, that they might have fingers in.
Name one group that you would like to be active in this regard in a negative fashion toward your character.
Brandon, his parents are the Goa'uld.
Yeah, well, I actually would put it slightly differently. We seem to be discovering why the Koch brothers exist.
Yeah. Some kind of weird multinational, Monsanto. If we can control the world's food, we can control them.
The Leviathans from Supernatural.
Yeah.
So
did they team up with a government organization that's kind of facilitating their insidious plans on planet Earth?
I'm hesitant to be as crude as the Republican Party, but or as crass, right?
Not.
Yeah.
Well,
I would put the DNC in there myself. I am that jaundiced at this time.
Well, sure, right, but yeah, and I can see that, like the but you're asking for a specific organization rather than just the whole political landscape, right, or the whole corporate landscape.
Correct.
Right.
So I'm talking about people who would be more active in this regard. Again, knowingly or unknowingly is up to you, but active.
Yeah. Can we say like can we start with something like
actually wait,
Fox News?
We could, but let's be more specific. Remember, we're in Burlingame.
Mm-hmm.
So you could perhaps have the Fox News of Burlingame, their particular outlet, Bay Area, the Bay Area, network, the Bay Area corporate nexus of Fox News, right?
Yeah, that works. Sure.
So with that in mind, would you like them to be actively seeking to ruin you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Right. That's the idea.
So they're an extensive organization who's actively seeking to ruin you.
Yeah.
Right. That's cool.
Yeah.
So you got a nice nice hefty hunter there. And so and now one other thing. What about problems that are here superpowered or otherwise, that you may have some history with? Did you take down a supervillain, right? So that everybody, that was your debut. You took down like a heinous supervillain or something like that. I'm looking for hunters. Is what I'm doing
possibly.
Here.
Yeah, so. Possibly. I think he would, or maybe he took down a, and I don't know that we want to do this in terms of introducing like superheroes, but maybe he took down a respected superhero who is actually
right.
Yes. Part of the establishment.
Now, right? I do remember from our previous conversation, Alice and Aldo, there was some mention of establishmentarian superheroes not necessarily being on your side. I seem to recall something about that.
I don't remember that.
Okay. Well, maybe I do, but not enough to press it and like hunt it down.
Okay.
So
I'm happy to introduce that element if that's I mean it would fit him, and that would explain why
if
Fox
you
News,
want it,
he's on
right.
Fox News radar.
If you want it, put it down. If you want it, put it down. That's good. Because again, in this game we don't vet certain things among one another. Right? We don't vet like, hey, we didn't say anything about other dimensions, man. No, you put it on the sheet. Now we are. So
all right, perfect.
Excellent. Okay, so I think that we're good for just a little bit of trying something out.
Okay.
I am going to pause it. There's a protest march against the detainment of people and this is California, so it would be regarding the Southern California border with Mexico, which is a long, long way away from where we are, but that doesn't mean people aren't going to be holding protests about it in the Bay Area. And I would even say that at Cal State East Bay, that it would actually be a pretty reasonable place for a student organization and a whole bunch of affiliated outside organizations to have put together a big event. As a protest, and that they're not as so radical as to go and like block a bridge, but they have set up one of their points of demonstration. It's big enough. This is a big demo. So they have different points of demonstration in different places, and outreach is the issue. They don't want to the student organization was sick of just having their own little organization by students, for students, that, nobody notices, and tomorrow it's going to be some other little kitschy demonstration, and then another one, and who cares, right? Like they say, that's high school. We're doing this for real. We've been organizing this for a year. So now you've got flashpoint demonstrations erupting all over the place on a coordinated basis. Each one with students prominently wearing their school, logos and colors on purpose, but also with activists and concerned citizenry who support them in each place too. So this is a pretty well done protest, and they are at places where a lot of populace will see them. That's on purpose too. Let's go to the bridge. Which bridge did you mention that is actually has one end at least sort of in the vicinity of Cal State East Bay?
It's the 92, so it's the San Mateo Bridge. I just always call Cross 92.
That's what we're going to call it now.
You say when you're local.
I was going to say we're using the local names. That's a Cross 92 bridge, and the nickname of the most famous city in the area does not start with F. We know this, right? So we're at the end of we're on the end. Yeah, we're at the east end of that bridge.
Okay.
And that's where, now if you visualize it for us, because we can't, you're suddenly local GM. Right?
It's a flat area where you have occasional industrial buildings, but a lot of it is just a flat area that's used there's some sort of, pawns basically marked off in spaces and such, but there's not a whole lot out in that area.
That sounds perfect
right
for like maybe 150 people to be there with their T-shirts, signs, and passions. That seems like the perfect place for it. So that's exactly where it is, and it is. We again, this is sort of cheesy. It's not very organic, and it's a little too set piece for the way Champions Now is supposed to work. I'm supposed to be playing off the now in a mechanical fashion that we haven't explained to you. But for present purposes, let's go ahead and take a look at your character's presence at this place for a variety of reasons that we will take as given. Let us say that your characters do have intel that there's going to be a fairly dedicated, police-driven, as they call it, clash among demonstrators, is the way the news likes to put it. So, and of course what that means is a bunch of people who are either cops or their friends are going to show up, some pretending to be protesters, some pretending to be just ordinary people who are shocked at such behavior, and exercising their freedom of speech too. And of course they're going to instigate, a clash. And so, opposing demonstrators clash yet again. Everybody gets to put their hands on their forehead and say, "Oh, why can't we be civil?"
Right.
So, I don't have an opinion about this, do I? So we then have so your characters basically have kind of intel on this, and since you're working off of a reporter, I have with Jerry's character. That gives me all the cheesy excuse I need, right?
That's right.
Yep.
So, now, given that none of you have detective work, so I'm going to suggest that means that the ways that you would get lots of good, well-positioned info on such an event are not available to you, unless. Go ahead.
As far as I'm concerned, for me, I was thinking that if I'm supposed to be at this event, I don't see my character as an activist, because right now, like I said, she's trying to find a way to speak up, but everything that she's seen in activism is just as bad as what's causing it. It's just, more divisiveness, more issues, and a lack of hope. But she would know a few people who are activists, and so they want her to go show up, and they are trying to tell her that it's going to be peaceful, it's going to be okay. And maybe she got talked into going there just to look out for her friends, because she wants to make sure that none of them get hurt, and therefore she can drag them out of there if things go bad.
You just read our comics first thought bubble. That was awesome, Alice. That is your classic. Yeah. All right. Oh, check him out.
Thanks.
All right.
Nice.
Oh man, what a
Wish
grin.
I could draw.
That's actually your grin. I just realized, Jerry, that's your grin. You know that, right?
All characters lead back to me.
Yeah.
Myself involved.
Yeah.
Ego.
We all put a little bit of ourselves into our characters.
Well, that's what we came for. So, excuse me, again.
Bless you.
Thank you. One thing I've noticed about living in Sweden is that I have had almost no minor illnesses at all. And then I caught the mother of all colds this last week. And I was flattened. And so this is the last lingering minor cough from it.
Right. I haven't caught any minor illnesses, but I caught all the major ones.
Oh, there you go. Well, let's hope it's not measles, right?
Yeah.
Well, so now we have... So we just had our first thought balloon. Everything you just said is just gorgeous thought balloon for your character standing, among the protesters, kind of looking left and right. And so in the case, however, of... But as a member of this superhero team, you also know about the upcoming, you know that there are people who are going to be dedicated to disrupting this.
Right. And you, we already know each other?
Yeah.
We're already a team?
We are, we're totally not ever playing the, as I joked to Jerry, the mole had been working hard all morning. Right. The first line of The Wind in the Willows. We're not gonna do the whole thing about how you painfully, eventually, reluctantly, and emotionally finally come together as a team. Okay, we did that.
Oh man. We're not gonna have the mistaken fight where
not among each other yet. Right. You can have tantrums at each other and hit each other. That happens anyway, right? You want that. We can go.
Just waiting for someone to get mind controlled.
Yeah.
Then we can beat them up.
We have ample.
That's right.
Ample opportunity for that sort of thing.
That's right. I get Space Madness.
Okay.
Okay.
Do we have comms?
I'm sorry. Say that again, Alice.
Do we have comms?
You would have to have powers for a comm, or you can decide that you've got very ordinary comms, which means unsecured, etc.
Okay.
Right. So that's something to consider. Jerry, now since you don't have good intelligence on this, you can't perch in the perfect spot, right?
No,
you have to roll ahead of time for such things. So you just have.
I want to be actually down there because
Right.
I'm just lending my small celebrity to the march.
Right. Oh, in costume, you mean?
Yeah, I'm in costume.
Okay.
I'm like, hey, you know what? Rush is here with these guys.
Rush is here with these guys, and the team is there with Antigone. There's got to be a news truck there, has just pulled up. Right? And, of course, the protesters like, hot damn, Fox is here, you bastards, right? We're important enough to get messed with by Fox. No, you're there because Antigone wants your photo shoot. That's why.
And she gave me talking points.
Yeah.
I've got talking points from her.
Well, in that case, let's hear one.
Actually, so we're down here because of the unlawful detention. Is that what we're here for?
Yeah.
In fact, I will actually say that first. It'll be that's what we're here for, right? Okay, yeah. Ice sucks. We should all be really upset because of this. I'm not saying we should, go out and throw rocks at cops, but I'm not saying we shouldn't. I'm saying the only time things get done is when there's a catastrophic breakdown of the system, and there's been a catastrophic breakdown.
Now the cameraman is like, "Holy shit! Should I be recording this?" And he looks at Antigone, and he sees Antigone going,
"Yeah,
right." So here's the thing: you're going to be making a presence attack, and you've got a 5d6, correct?
Actually, let me excuse me while I whip this out. Yes, 5d6.
Okay, now presence modifiers are everything. Presence modifiers are huge. Everybody needs all the presence modifiers taped to their wall. So I'll just spitball a couple that matter here. First of all, you're on point. If I may say, you're not going to get any dice for the sophistication and power and delivery of your monologue.
Right.
But on the other hand, you are in the right place at the right time. That's plus 2d6.
Okay.
Right? You are known. That's you have some reputation. Plus 1d6.
Okay.
Right?
So I'm at 8 so far.
Mm-hmm. And then there's also I'm trying to think about a couple of the negatives that are going to come in on this one for you. In terms of messaging to the world,
right?
Not necessarily to the people who are there standing with you, but in terms of messaging to the world, you're off message pretty badly.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Right, so that's -2 right there. So
fair enough.
Yeah. So go ahead and roll the situation. I think you're down to 66.
Yep, 66. And we're just summing, or are we actually counting?
This is the core roll. The times when you actually sum the dice in this game are very, very few. The core roll is what they used to call the body roll.
Right. Yep.
So
okay, cool. So
right.
I gotta say,
so guys and Brandon, I think you're going to like this. All of the effect rolls, mind control. Whenever you roll a big handful of dice, core results. All the results are now translated to the core.
So, for viewers that don't know what a core result would be, would you mind explaining that to them?
Every die you roll is 1 point of effect, except if it's a 6, in which case it's a 2, except if it's a 1, in which case it's a 0. So most of the time it's going to be equal to the number of dice, but it's just wiggly enough that the times when it's not are actually pretty significant. Sorry, Alice, what was that?
To get a crit or a botch, basically.
They do happen.
Really.
Yeah, they do happen. What happens is that you have a nice solid result that rarely drops off sharply. You can never be quite sure just how well your mind control is going to work this time. Never too sure just how hard that energy bolt is going to hit this time. There's wiggle. So that's very intentional. So what you're going to this is a presence attack. It takes no game time. Basically, got this big old balloon, speech balloon, and that's your presence attack. And Jerry, what's your core result?
6.
Okay, 6 on a result is actually on, if we look at the presence effects table, and you're going to get a whole lot of people who are listening, and that means through the cameras too at this point. The number of people are going to be considering what you say actually as if they could take that seriously, possibly.
Yeah.
So you're actually jarring. You're not people who are deeply committed against it, like shall we say certain Fox News viewers, but people people who watch Fox because they like to consider themselves intellectuals.
Right.
Some of them are going to go, "Hey, wait a minute. It's like the John Bircher thing. Do I hold this gun to defy my government or to rebel against it?" And all of a sudden, they're kind of sitting there with that conundrum, right, in their head. Right. All of a sudden, right. So, there. Anyway, what's that, Aldo?
I'm sorry, I was going to say Morningstar, if we're going to go with that name for now, is watching this thinking such brazenness, such bravery. You know, he's like, in my kingdom, people would never do this.
Which is also funny because his character doesn't really understand the issues and has been fed these talking points by his...
Yeah.
So that's funny too. But yeah. So cool. Brandon, you're the one... Oh, by the way, so Morningstar, your presence as... Because we don't know much, your character is still fuzzy. So is he there as a guy?
He's there as a guy. He's wearing a jeans and a t-shirt and a hoodie. He doesn't want people to make, he's trying to hide, even though he doesn't look like his superhero self right now, he's still trying to hide his identity.
Oh, I love this. Another guy, a burly guy in a hoodie just like yours, edges up next to you and says, "You ready to go? You ready?"
He looks over quizzically at him.
Right, exactly.
And size him up.
Exactly. Oh, well, do you?
Mm-hmm.
Intelligence roll. 3d6.
Okay.
And right now, just spitballing, do you want him to have an 11, 12, 11 is the base, 12, 13, 14, whatever. What's his intelligence?
I'd say minimum 12.
Okay.
Because I picture him thinking his way out of the norm.
Right.
So he's not going to be base.
Let's go ahead and do broad strokes. Let's make it 13.
Okay.
Yeah. So 13 or less on 3d6.
11.
Oh, cool. The dude's a cop. The dude's here, and it's exactly what your teammates has talked about with you. They're going to try and be disrupt. This is that guy. I got one.
That's
right. So excellent, Brandon.
Yep.
Talk to me about your character's participation in the event as it stands currently.
I'd be there as a member of the protest. Probably dressed a little bit nicer than some of the folks. Khaki pants. Collared shirt, but not a full button up.
Are you standing near? Are you standing near Marianne?
Marianne, what's our plan going in, guys? Spread out or condensed? I was thinking spread out.
Okay.
I was thinking spread out too.
Spread out.
Because we don't know what we're looking for, so.
Mm-hmm.
Excellent.
Or where to look.
Well, you do now, but right.
And I'm texting you guys. And plus, Joe, Tiffany, and Mark are really annoying me right now. You don't want to be near me.
Excellent.
They're really getting into this.
Oh man. So yeah, we can even cut to Xander, like looking at the message on his phone because he's standing in another sector of the area in his khakis.
And I'm texting my team.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
My friends are really getting into this. I don't know if I can keep them out of trouble.
Oh, great! Interesting. That's a real nice parallel to what Morningstar is saying. Morningstar, what name do you go by when you're not being Morningstar, or when you're talking to people who know you? How do you? And you know what? And that would be a human Earth name, right? That would be a very local name.
Yes, I have no reason for this except that it just popped into my mind. Alan Thorne.
Got it. Alan Thorne. Right.
Alan Thorne. Okay.
Excellent. Let me catch up. My notes got to catch up here.
Yes.
That is you just like went to the WASP dictionary and just.
I was going to say I don't even know if there's an Alan Thorne on the West Coast. I think they're all over in Massachusetts. So,
Brandon, what's your character's name?
Sol, S-O-L, and Xander is my actual
that's what it.
Yeah, I don't know if you ever gave a last name, but when we get there, we'll check it out. We'll get it. So cool. We have. I know where I got all the hippie stuff. It was from the other guy's character, his crystal character. Remember?
Oh, Nick when he was.
He was coming up with all this weird crystal vision stuff going on. That's where that got lodged in my head.
Oh, okay. Yeah, some of the stuff you were getting, I'm like, huh. And we did cut him out of the character creation since he dropped so quick.
Yeah. So, we have here, so that's just catching up on wondering why I was a little hyped on that. So then we've got Alan, where he is. If we were playing in person, we would probably quickly check like a satellite photo, like a real photo of the area if we had one. And with Brandon and Alice's help, we would say, okay, I'm over there by the railing. Okay, the news truck is here. So, it wouldn't be that hard to do. But right now we know that there's the news truck. We know that Rush is there. We know that with the actual protesters is, the body of them, the most sort of fervent of them. That's where Marianne is. And we know, therefore, that the other two of you are probably in more mixed peripheral parts of the mass of people as protesters. That's what I got so far. So, with that, right when things seem to be, cresting, I guess you could say, what actions are we interested in? We are not in the speed chart at this time, but I am prepared with one anyway. So let's move into some proactivity if you want to do it, and so then I can instigate.
Yeah, I've got an action.
Please.
So even in industrial areas, you've got that you've got the weeds that come out between.
Totally. Oh, I've already got them in my head. I totally.
Great.
Yeah.
So as my friends are getting a little bit too excited, my hands go down beside me. I tuck my phone in, and I just start wiggling my fingers at some of those weeds, and I'm going to gently trip my friend so that we're pulled away from that crowd that's rushing forward. And so I'm going to have them trip, and I'm going to basically be ready to catch them so they're not impacting the ground. But this way, trip one or two of them and slow them down, and the rest of us all have to group up and go, oh, are you okay?
Got it.
Therefore, pull them out of that scene.
Okay, a couple of things. Do you have any kind of stealth or anything like that?
I did not buy... Oh, yes, I did. I did buy stealth.
That is a really good idea for you to roll right now.
Okay, great.
Stealth is based on dexterity, so just make a dexterity roll.
Fantastic. I have a dex of 11, and I rolled 3 dice.
Yep.
And was it above or below? I forget. For skills.
Equal to or below.
Okay, I just made it then.
Oh,
11 on the dot.
Excellent. So, yes, we have a very successful unseen, stealthy tendrils thing going on. Now, spend the endurance. You don't need to use your full force. This is actually technically entangle, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. If you don't use your full force, you won't spend much endurance, and
I'm not,
right.
like I said.
And also, it means they're not going to be trapped in, heinous, right, poison ivy tangles. They're just going to get tripped. So really, all you need is ordinary human strength. 2d6 will do it, and that is, 2d6 will do it, and in the case of endurance, that's 4 for an entangle.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I will spend my 4 endurance.
Yeah. Right. Endurance, ordinarily it's 1 endurance per d6, but entangle is slightly more taxing. So, therefore, cool. You have done this. The effect you're talking about occurs because it's so logical. Somebody falls, takes a real nice pratfall. You're there in time, to catch them, which I think is not even a roll at this point. And then everybody's like, "Oh, you hurt," and everybody kind of has their "we're such good people because they were activists" attitude on at the moment. So there's almost like too much helping all of a sudden.
Yeah,
right?
but
the attention's diverted.
I pulled my friends away from the.
The mood of that particular sector of the crowd is broken quite effectively. Any other people want to do things?
Just for how I'm involved, I actually thinking about my computer and such. I'm probably dealing with sound system stuff, and just basically to try and get everybody on the same page, play the chant, that kind of thing, and that for when things start to go south, that I've got some stuff prepped up to just try and hopefully get things to calm down. Can I
have the visuals on what you're doing when you say the sound system? What am I seeing the artist draw?
Probably that we've got a van with just some, fold-out card tables, a couple of laptops on them with, big speakers, and also Bluetooth connected up to some speakers elsewhere, since we're probably protesting on both sides of the bridge before you get to the toll plaza, and as you're driving to the east and you don't have the toll plaza, and so therefore we get both sides kind of hooked up on the same thing.
Got it. So you're actually working with the student group, is what I'm hearing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Did you hack into the buildings on the toll plaza and out of their speaker system?
Now, that is the question. If you want to do that kind of thing, that is a computer programming role.
I don't see the need to have hacked into them.
Got it. Okay. Now,
I will do... Actually, no, I do want to hack, because I want their cameras. I want their cameras.
That was like 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Oh, yes, I do want to hack. Fantastic.
Yeah. So, that's 3d6, 12 or less, I believe, because I've got an int 12. Is that correct?
Absolutely.
Alright, well, I've 6 on dice.
All right, then. So, therefore, tell us a little bit about that effect that you were after.
I'm looking, basically, since we're expecting trouble, and trouble can be any sort of place, I want the cameras on the local area, since we've got the toll plaza there.
Beautiful. You've got screen. You've got eyes on. Right?
Yep.
Good deal. Okay. Therefore, that leaves Jerry and Aldo. Do you guys have comments on what your characters are up to? Jerry, are you going to continue with the photo opping? Are you going to do like a display of powers or anything like that?
Yeah, you know what? I'm at the moment. I'm kind of caught up in it.
Yeah.
I'm with the crowd and stuff, and I'm, taking the selfie with the crowd, like, look at who's here.
Right.
This is how we change stuff.
What's kind of interesting for the other 3 players, and this is a special effect of what he's doing, is that you would not expect a superhero who all but has Fox News emblazoned across his chest. He doesn't, but he all but, right? you would not expect that this crowd of protesters would be very sympathetic out of the gate. But as he has continued to talk, and it's not even what he said necessarily, people are really enjoying being next to him. People are really, I mean, like somebody who was ready to like take it to the pigs, right now, he's selfieing right now.
Right.
So there's an interesting effect. Just like she broke up the crowd's momentum over there, it's been broken up pretty thoroughly over there by that van. Right? The security guys for the van who showed up ready to rumble, they're kind of like, wow, these are really, really nice Antifas. Right?
Yeah.
So So that's kind of there's you guys know this. Your characters know that there's something ain't right about Rush in terms of these interactions. And I also want to point out something that I may not have made explicit to you before. Your hunteds and your DNPCs are immune to your presence.
That is in the notes. I saw that this morning, but didn't realize that before. It's
a pretty significant thing, if you think about it.
It's a pretty significant change.
Yeah. And so, as my friend Rod put it, who got me thinking in that direction before I made that rule, the way he put it was, your arch nemesis is done with your bullshit.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I also figure like Jane Foster gets to talk back at Thor.
Yeah,
right?
exactly. I mean, and in other words, we have to, and the way I like it is that they have to come clean, right? They actually have to reach that person in order to interact with them. They can't. And so you get to the way Peter Parker talks to the relevant person per phase of Spider-Man is important because he's not going to talk that way to other people. Right? So I think that's why DNPCs are a big deal. They're very different in Champions now. They are not the load that hooks you into an adventure. That's just not what they do. So the next step here. Now that you guys have kind of seen a little systemic stuff, and we've seen the crowd get broken up a little bit, we can even hop to the screens right over there by Xander and see you can actually kind of assess these things at the screens. Your computer programming role has given you that. So last but not least, before we move into anything, Aldo, do you want a thing to say, do, or are you cool where you are at?
No, I think I'm cool. I mean, when he realized this guy was a cop, he kind of scanned to see if he could see any others.
Perception roll, also intelligence roll. 13 or less.
This one will be a 13 on the nose.
Okay, so you look. Sorry. You look about, and sure enough, you're like, well, if he's one, then him, and him over there. Right.
Okay.
So you're good. And at that point, I mean, that's probably where we're at when when one of the guy right next to you grins at you, like, here we go, and then shouts just like in the air, and it's evident he didn't look anywhere before he did this. Gun!
Okay.
Right. And so the effect that you might expect begins. Right? All of a sudden, people go into their predetermined, or prearranged, planned, if the other side attacks, what do we do? Right? So the protest, some of the protesters mill around like, crazy people because they don't know what to do. Others quickly, shoulder to shoulder, and quickly, bring out, they don't have Molotovs yet. But they do have, like, bags of shot, and they do have, and some of them actually have flares. One of them strikes a flare. And meanwhile, the guys in the hoodies are actually throwing rocks, and they're throwing them at the security guys. right? The security guys definitely go into full bull goose loony, shield to shield, march, kennel time, kennel, motherfuckers, right? So, so all that's going to go on. Now, your efforts of both Marianne and Jerry, Marianne and Max, have significantly diminished any such effect in your sector of the crowds.
Okay.
So your sector of the crowds, both of you, those effects are practically absent. What I just described.
Cool.
Yeah. So so now, segment 1. We are talking about the segment 1. Anyone here have speed?
I'm a speed 3.
All right, speed 4, 5, or 6. Anybody?
Nope.
Jerry?
Not yet.
Okay. And so, well, the point is that you could do it. Doesn't cost you endurance.
Okay.
I mean, tell me whether it's in speed or strength right now. Just whether it is. Which one?
Yeah, it probably is just to react, but
Right.
yeah, he'll have a 4.
Okay. So at this moment, you've got. Oh, geez, we just get the camera the panel can go anywhere. The panel is like suddenly at his pancreas. Or even better, his pituitary, right up here.
Yes.
The panel is actually looking at his pituitary, and we see it do a thing, right? So,
Right. Yes. Some kind of weird effect that always.
Right. So, then, so what do you do on segment 1? This is before anyone else can go, Mr. Quickie.
Well, first, I'm going to just waste a segment because I look over at Antigone that look like,
You can
like,
you can call this a hold action.
Okay, yeah,
Right.
I'll just...
And if you let's see if I have this right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's funny. Right. If you, and your next action is going to be on segment 3. So my point is, if you get into segment 3, you'll lose this action. But until segment 3 starts, you can trigger it whenever you want. Okay, Jerry? You got that?
Okay, yep.
Right. And so then on segment 2, let's take it by the decks. The first thing to go is the hazard. You guys are up against a hazard now, which is not the same as a character. And hazards have speed 2. So speed 2 goes on segment 2. Who else? Also speed 5 and speed 6. So
I don't know what my speed is, obviously, or my dex for that matter.
Right. So I'm just going to point out. Let's be clear to everybody. If you have speed 3, so if you have speed 3, actually I was wrong there. Then you're going to be Alice. You're going to go on segments 2, 4, and 6.
2, 4, 6. Easy to remember.
Yes, Brandon, you've got a speed 2, as I recall. You're going to be going on segments 2 and 5. And then, does anyone have a speed? Well, for Jerry, if your speed is at 4, it's 1, 3, 5, 6.
Okay.
And let's give. You know what? We're going to make you vanilla. For Morningstar, you got a speed of 3 as well. 2, 4, 6.
2, 4, 6. Yeah. Okay.
Cool. So the hazard goes first on segment 2, which means that now is when the crowd hits. The nature of this hazard is that you've got you're all caught in its area of effect. Hazards have big areas of effect, and you're caught in it, and it is determined by their nature, basically. And so, in fact, you know what? I'm going to say that the ones who are really going to be caught in it is Xander, especially. No, sorry. I'm forgetting who's who. Alan, especially, and Xander, because like I said, the other crowd areas were diminished. So the only people who are affected by this effect right now are the two of you, because that's why. So that means that for this crowd effect, there's the things that make you, quote, immune to it would be presence of 4d6 or higher, because you just have the presence that people would kind of avoid jostling you. And I'm gonna, so we don't know your presences, but let's just say they're not. Unless what's Xander's presence?
46.
Okay, so you're actually, somebody's going to like come at you to like trash you, and then just choose to go after the equipment elsewhere, right?
He's like, it's too big.
Yeah, yeah,
Don't mess with him.
And so then, but you on the other hand are going to be trapped in this crowd effect, which is two effects. One is 46 entangle, and there's no defense roll against this. Your defenses work against it, but not your defense roll. So, and I rolled beautifully for my entangle. That's 6 points of entangle on a 46 roll. So you are basically, this is the crowd like making your movement, fucked with. All right.
Yeah.
And so now the way to deal with these, and also there's the other effect, which is the now let's see, how do I want to do this one? There's a secondary effect that we're going to deal with as well, which is that if you're hit by that, then you're going to be hit by another one, which is going to be 3d6 severe attack, which means you're going to take this damage on the chin, and it's going to go right through your ordinary defenses, so you're going to take 9 knockout right there.
Wow.
Okay.
Well, that's because you're buffeted, right? You're freedom of movement. You're locked down in terms of movement. You've basically been, if not knocked down, at least as good as by the crowd, and so you're taking buffets. That's exactly what this is. That's the hazard. The hazards can get worse. I can have like a hazard that kicks in on top of the first hazard. But this is occurring to anybody. Any characters like you guys are going to be affected by the crowd this way as long as you're trapped in it, unless you've got that high presence. So, and also your guys' areas, the hazard's going to sweep over it pretty soon. It has a movement rate, and it will move. So you guys are aware that you can't just stand there in your little safe spots. This is going to spill over onto you in its next phase, which is going to, okay? So that hits at the top of 2. Now that means we've got 3 characters operating on phase 2. Let's quick check their dexterities.
13.
13, and I believe it was 12. Was it for Alice? Was it dexterity 12?
My dex is, let me double check. I lost my panel. I apologize.
Yeah.
My dex is a 11.
Okay. So, therefore, the first to go, and remember, we've got a hovering action in segment 2 from Rush. So, Jerry, you know that, right? You can do whatever, whenever. And so,
do I see it like everything's starting to pop up? Like everything is safe here. I look over at Antigone like, okay, what am I supposed to do? Like, I'm like, And if I see anyone that might get trampled or get, just carried away, then I'm just going to go do my own thing.
Well, let me clarify that since the hazard just hit, that yes, you can see multiple people in circumstances much like Xander's. And ordinary people are a lot less resilient than... No, by the way, just so you know, ordinary people have a defense of 0.
Okay. That's a lot less than my defense.
Right. Ordinary people have a defense of 0. Whatever damage is done to them, they take. And that includes body. So if you want to kill a normal person, hit them with something that does 10 body. And it'll do it. And that's an ordinary attack. You don't need killing attacks or anything like that for that to happen. So, therefore, now people, this is severe damage that they're taking. It goes right through defenses. They don't have any, so it's not doing any extra to them. But they are taking the body from it, which is going to hurt. to be clear, the severe advantage only sends the knockout damage through your defenses, not the body. But ordinary people don't have defenses, so they're going to be, oh, cool, look at you go.
That's awesome.
Yeah, silvery dude.
Nice.
Silvery pecs.
That's right. Yeah. They're shiny, like the outfit. Those are actually not clothes. Those are...
la. Did not hear that.
Skin condition.
Yes.
Skin condition.
Yeah, exactly.
So what we have is, therefore, yes, you absolutely do see somebody getting fucking trampled right now.
Okay. Then I'm just taking off. I'm leaping over there.
Right.
And just interceding and just telling everyone just to calm down.
Oh, excellent. Yeah. Okay, so this is quite interesting. You're going to leap into the hazard, first of all.
Yep.
And I'm going to say that by entering the hazard in the first place, you're obviously going to be taking 10 points of knockout. And then that means you're in the thick of the crowd, right? Oh, and we're going to see if that entangle's going to capture you particularly. Right. Much less effect. Just 3 points of entangle on you at the moment. Okay. So you're in the thick of the crowd. You've landed there, and you're saying that you're going for a presence attack. Spend 2 endurance for the super leap. That was quite a leap, everybody. He had to make at least 25 feet to get there, and he did. So so you've landed, and you've practically landed on people. Right, I mean it's
right,
and they're buffing. You take like a knee in the face, right when you land in the crouch, and so you're like, ow, right in the nose. No real damage except for 10 knockout, but that's the knee in the nose you just took. Exactly. And so and it's hard to move, right? I mean, your space is fucked with all this going on here. So now you're trying for a presence attack in the middle of that.
Okay. Yep.
You see how, first of all, you're -1 for being in combat in the first place. -2, you're grossly off message. Dude, you're getting like 2 dice. So go ahead and roll.
2 dice.
Yeah. Guys, don't make presence attacks right in the middle of the fisticuffs. They don't work that well.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Calm down.
Calm down. Ow! Yeah, exactly. So go ahead and give me your core effect.
That was a good roll.
You see, I'm looking for a 4 core result on 2 dice. If he gets boxcars, he actually will shut them up, right?
Yes. Nope. I've got 6.
Wait. Core result on 2 dice.
Oh, on 2 dice.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry. I got 2.
Okay. All right. Basically, a couple of people hear you and look at you, and that's as far as you get. Like, you might get the immediate people lose their next action, and that's all. They're not going to stop what they're doing, and it's not the crowd as a whole for sure, or that area as a whole for sure. You have just learned that my hazard is not turned off by that attack.
Right. Fair enough.
And so all hazards have their effect, they have their immunity condition, and they have their switch off or ameliorate or resolution condition, or at least escape condition.
Right.
So you need to try and figure out what that condition is. Right.
Okay.
So and also, I mean, if you come up with something, it's always available. And if you came up with something that I of a sudden say, why that would be an effective, resolver, then that counts too.
Right.
But all the listed shit won't, except for the ones that are listed, or that are designated for the hazard. So you can't blast the crowd. That's not going to work. Right.
That's right. I'm going to shoot trouble.
That's right. Yeah, exactly. I see the plot twist coming. I shoot it.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. So, guys, let's continue. He used his held action, and Xander is next with his 13.
Okay, what's going on in the area near me? I know that it's coming towards me, but
right. You can see that the fighting has erupted But the people right near you. Oh, and you actually you were in a situation. Yeah. Well, no, you're right there. It's just that people are choosing not to punch you or to get too close to you because you've got the presence to look not like a soft target, right?
Gotcha.
And so. Mm-hmm. So it's happening when people are getting your equipment. People are knocking over the equipment as we speak. There goes the laptop. Ooh, end over end.
So what I want to do is I want to grab the equipment as best as I can, chuck it in the van, and basically retreat into the van if I can, to try and come out with a pre-programmed calming message. If I can start that at the same time as I'm doing that, that'd be awesome. But I'm planning on that way I can, in the cover of the van, I can instant change into soul.
Okay, my take is that you definitely, your action this phase is just getting you and most valued equipment into the van. So,
yeah, I don't want the school's equipment to get busted up.
Right. You know what? I think that given the circumstance you're in, that's not a big deal. That's not even a dex roll. People are not trying to get the equipment per se, right? So therefore, it's not like a roll or anything to contest that. And furthermore, you are immune to the entangle, so therefore you can just go. But it is going to take your full phase to get stuff and get in there. So that's where you're going. And so then finally, for this phase, we have Ivy.
Ivy. At this point, I'm going to basically get my friends out of danger. So wherever that gun being screamed at, I'm going to basically tell my friends to, run. And I start pointing the opposite direction away from the crowds, and I'm going to basically feign like I am going to be following them and just start getting them out. So this phase, my action is to be dealing with them. Okay. But I am specifically, while I do so, I am fading back into the back of my group, and I'm making certain they're going to leave the situation. And I'm trying to basically, as I do so, look for any position of cover, which, in industrial area, it's not hard. And I'm going to basically
at the very least, there's one of those like, at the very least, there's going to be a drum with some lumber sticking out of it.
Exactly.
Right.
So I'm going to drop into cover at the end of this action.
You guys are both. You guys are both pretty generous with your stated action scopes. But in this case, you're lucky because your first action is a presence attack, which takes no game time. So therefore, the presence attack is free. However, what's your base presence?
My base presence is 4 dice.
4 dice. You're technically in combat, and you are going to... no, you're not. Actually, the hazard hasn't quite swept over you yet. So that's cool.
Because I was I was in one of the diffused areas.
Correct.
And I'm just trying to get my friends to safety. Let's take cover, let's get out of gunfire.
Exactly. So you're not in combat. You got your base 4. Hold on. And I'm going to say they're scared as shit, so give yourself a +1. And for going with that, and you're not doing it as a superhero or anything, so nothing else applies.
Okay.
Core result.
I got a core result of 6.
Fantastic. Your friends are influenced. Your friends are influenced and scrambling. Now for that stealth roll to get yourself behind somewhere.
Sure. Stealth. Roll low. 3d6. Oh, nice. I rolled 9.
Fantastic. So you basically get behind. I'm going to say, hey, two steel drums, right? 2 battered drums with lumber sticking out of them.
Great.
Why not?
And I'll activate my instant change on my next action.
Bam, and that's a zero phase power, so you can do it at the end of your phase, and you're good.
Instant change.
Yeah, you can do that either at the end of your phase or the beginning of your phase for those
then
zero
I'll do
phase
it at the
things.
end.
Yes. So bam, and Ivy is there. That the artist enjoys that panel. Tell us a little bit about Ivy's appearance, because there are people here who haven't really caught your imagery from last time.
Sure. Ivy actually wears she wears a green retro 1950s style dress, except instead of actually fabric, it's the off the shoulder cut along here, and banded around here, so no sleeveless. And it's, instead of fabric, though, it's pieced together with vines of ivy, and it's got little buds of white and purple and multicolored blossoms that go along the dress, cuts off at around my knees, has that 1950s pop-out style. What changes about my skin, though, is my skin immediately goes kind of bark-ish.
Yeah, all woody,
with a little
right?
bit of, yeah, all woody. It's got the moss. I've got, where wrinkles would be there, in between the bark, there's the moss growing out of it. My fingernails turn into little caps of leaves at the end. So yeah, that's what I look like.
Excellent. All right. So here's the thing. We now have segment 3, and
actually, Morningstar Act. I'm probably not on your list.
Morningstar's, I think, has an action at this point.
Oh, yeah, okay, go for it. Yeah.
Yeah. So,
actually, I think you're out of order, but whatever. Okay. So you're entangled and shit, though.
Yes, I am. With the entangle effect, does it make it impossible? My weapon.
Correct. Well, you can use your weapon. Well, yes, it is. It is. Yeah. The nature of entangle, regardless of special effect, is that, for example, while entangled, Spider-Man cannot web shoot somebody. Okay. Even though it would seem sensible that he could just stick his hand out and do it, he can't.
Right.
Right.
Okay. So he probably then is just going to have to wait. I'll hold my action because he probably needs to draw his weapon to effectively transform and gain access to his powers.
If that's how you want to do it, if that's how you see it.
That's how I see it. I mean, I think there may be some racial powers that exist, but they'd just be slightly augmented.
Let me clarify, if you have instant change, you can do it while entangled. That is okay.
That would be okay?
Yes.
Okay.
Right.
So in that case, I guess with the crowd kind of like engulfing him, right? And he's
yeah. You're in the middle of the hazard. There's no problem with
falling under the bodies, right? So then he will instant change at that point.
Is your character like extra strong?
Yes, I think slightly extra strong, above normal human. Only though, I think his presence probably goes up.
Right.
When he's transformed.
We'll talk about this in a bit. One of the staples of old school champions of all kinds is only in hero ID.
Right.
That does not exist in champions now.
Okay.
So you are actually have a more generous situation. You can retain that as a special effect all you want. Yeah. But it's not. But unless you do other things, it's really not going to be that big a deal. Right. So we'll talk more about that later. But at the moment, I'm going to say based on what you just said, let's give you this 3d6 strength, okay? Now, here's the fun part. I want to show everybody how this works. The fun part is pushing. To push, you're going to need to you can add another d6 of strength for every d6 of endurance you're willing to roll. So so what you're going to do is I'm going to tell you what to do, because you're up against a 6-point entangle. You need 6 points. So you need 3 more dice.
I can burn 3 dice.
So that's 3 endurance for that particular strength. And then 3d6 of endurance for the rest of the strength. Okay?
That's cool.
All right.
I'll do that.
Oh, excellent. So I'm going to roll these 3d6.
Simultaneous with an instant change?
What's that?
simultaneous with an instant
Yeah,
change?
absolutely.
So
Yeah. So you're going to spend a total. That's 9 more endurance. So you're going to spend 12 endurance.
Sure.
Right, and then you're going to, basically stand up now. And so now, but roll your 66 now for your strength. By the way, Alice, for your move to get over there, over there, it's going to be 1 endurance. And the endurance you spent beforehand, you never got a chance to recover. By definition, if you spend endurance before the action happens, you're not allowed to recover it before the action happens. In other words, you got to go in with it. You got to go in with the deficit.
I still have it down.
Yeah, that's for those characters who like swoop in, like I'm here now. Well, yeah, but you're coming in with a deficit of endurance of whatever it took to get there. Right. So cool. So that is our situation. What was your core result? I missed it.
Unfortunately, my core result's only 5. I rolled a 1 in the midst of all of that.
Right. So basically, what happens though is this particular thing. You do throw off a bunch of the crowd. You're still like hampered a bit, right?
Sure. Sure.
Okay. So bam, you've managed to get out somewhat. Mm-hmm. Okay. Now. That's the end of 3, if I'm not mistaken, or 2. No, that was the end of 2. Now we go into 3, and that's going to be speed of 6. Okay, so the only one who goes is Rush.
Okay. Is there are there any vehicles around?
Oh, I mentioned the van that you just jumped away from. And as far as where the protesters were standing, no, the thick of the people you just jumped into, there's no vehicles. Everybody parks their mopeds and whatnot over there.
Right.
And also remember, people walked into this area as part of a march. So the protesters don't really have much. There are some like police motorcycles, right? There's definitely police motorcycles.
There's also a lot of times in that area is, depending on how close we are, but there's going to be parked roadwork vehicles.
Perfect.
And also, if you're looking for active vehicles, well, we are next to a major highway.
I was going to say the line of traffic is definitely there. Not a question.
Yeah. Right. But there's people as I understand it, there's people rushing this way. There's a clash, or is it just people rushing? Just moving.
You mean in the situation where you're at? Where you're at, people are not fighting yet. They are just moving.
Right. Okay.
Oh no! Sorry, you jumped into the thick of it. No, you're in the thick of people fighting. Most of them are just moving, but the guys with the hoodies are in a very dedicated way.
Okay,
Almost.
So those are the people that Rush perceives as the a-holes, right?
If you're trying to get your bearings about that takes a perception roll.
Okay.
Xander made that perception roll. Rush did not. If you're trying to get your bearings about that, who's the asshole? Make a perception roll right now.
Rolled a 6. So.
Okay, yeah, no problem. So you do not identify the peacenik with credentials going all the way back to SDS as the instigator.
Right.
And so...
So I look and I go, okay, the guy in the Birkenstock, he's not. It's the guy over there with the boots on, trying to curb stomp someone. So,
exactly.
Yeah, I'm gonna go pick those guys up. I'm just gonna go grab 2 of them if I can, and
so are you switching? Are you switching your strength? Actually, if you switch your strength, if you switch your strength, you're not going to be able to go until segment 5.
That is true. So, no, you know what? I'm gonna have to. I'm gonna mix it up normal, I guess.
Right. Oh, cool. So that's kind of nice. Get in there and. I'm so mean. This is terrible. Roll your 2d6 for your strength to see if you can get out of the entangle, unless you want to push it. Do you want to push it?
Yeah, why not? Let's do it.
Okay, roll 46 strength.
Are we rolling base dice or just... Yeah, I got 4.
Okay, so yeah, perfect. So you bust. Remember, the entangle was weaker on you, so you actually bust out of it. But that's as far as you get. You didn't double it, so you can't just waltz out of it. So therefore, you're only able to clear things away so you can move, which is a good thing.
Okay.
But so you can't get over there to help the guy getting beaten on. And you are going to spend 2 endurance for the base strength, and then 5 more. So that's 7 endurance that you just burned.
Okay. So yeah, I'm up to 9 right now.
Yeah. Which doesn't seem like much, but believe me, when it starts to hurt, it will. So, good enough. So that's as far as you got on segment 3, and then segment 4 kicks in. And anybody with speed 1, anybody with speed 3. Okay, so our 3Bs go. And let's take them in order this time. I believe it was 13.
I'm on 3.
Yeah. I believe it was 13 and...
I'm at 11.
Let's keep the order that we had. Let's keep the order of Brandon, Alice, and Aldo. Okay, so Brandon, you're in the van, right?
I'm not that fast.
Oh, right, you're not. Okay, so it's just the 2. So you're right. You're going to be coming in on a different segment. So segment 4, the first person to go is going to be Alice.
Okay. At this point, I'm in my new form. So I'm going to take a look around, trying to find where the instigators are.
Okay.
That's where I'm.
So that's going to be an active perception. That's half action. Go for it.
Yep. 1, 2, 8.
You got it. And I will point something out. You guys may have noticed that there is no degree of effect.
Okay.
Right.
It is true that 3 on 3d6 is a success, and that 18 on 3d6 is a failure. That's true. But degree of effect of any kind is absolutely circumstantial. So you don't have to say, so just made it versus made it by a mile has no game effect.
Right.
So just nobody has hinted as such, but it is an important part of many other systems. But it's not here.
Yeah.
Okay, so Alice, that guy. In fact, let's go ahead and say it's the guy that Rush was not able to get to. Because he used his perception for exactly the same thing, so it only makes sense that you would see the same guy.
Okay. Can I say that we were talking about the fact that there's lumber logs in some of the some unworked lumber logs in this yard. Can I say that I have one near me and one near him then?
Whoa, sure, why not?
Okay. I will teleport. I will walk into the big lumber log, and I will walk out next to his. And that's going to be my action.
Okay, perfect. Your move action. Go ahead and spend 2 endurance for that. Mm-hmm. I also want to point out that in some ways, that properly I would have been a jerk and said, "Do you have any luck?" But since you were operating with known phenomena, it is legal for you to get away with it.
Okay.
So luck, if you want luck, if you want to be the kind of person who can kind of say, shit, I'm totally in the wrong spot, and I say, oh well, if you're out of luck right now, make a luck roll, and then you can say, aha. There are rules for how to use luck in combat, but I'm not going into that right now. The point is that luck could have set that up for you if we hadn't established it.
Okay.
Right? Luck is a good way of finagling the immediate details of the situation to your liking. So, but you didn't need it because we knew lumber was everywhere. And so, therefore, bam, there you are. Perfect.
And as I pop out of the new log, the log starts to grow.
Little tendrils sprouting.
It starts to sprout.
Yeah, fantastic. So then, what about Morningstar?
Well, I still have 1 pip.
Yeah, you're still struggling a bit there.
Yeah. So what do I?
You could just roll strength.
Regular strength.
Well, yeah, but if you bust it, if you double it, then you've got your full face.
Okay, that's what I was wondering.
So yeah. So
I'll
use your
try
full
for the
strength.
3.
Yeah, roll your 3 dice. Spend 3 endurance. Tell me what you get.
Yeah.
You're hoping for a 2 or better.
4.
Oh wow! You mean you like toss off the last guy because you're the Prince of Power now, right? So you just toss off the last guy. Beautiful. And stride forth and take the full action as you see fit.
Okay. So I know the crowd has moved over me. Do I see any of the instigators? That maybe even the guy that I had seen, or is he moved?
Oh no, you got him. You got him.
And he's leading the charge bay, or he's leading them.
Yeah, exactly. He already stomped the. Well, wait. He is still in the act of about to stomp. He's part of the hazard, so he's not going to get to go until segment 5.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is there a way of like running up and grabbing him and just flinging him away from the crowd?
Absolutely.
Behind me, basically?
Absolutely. Yeah. So the move gives you 1 endurance to get there, no problem. And so up you go. Make your attack roll, which is going to be your dexterity versus his. We don't know your dexterity right off the top, but we're not going to give you a 13 and everything, my friend. And so therefore, I'm going to suggest that. And considering like the awesomeness of what you did, you're just going to get a plus. You're just going to get a +1.
Sweet.
Yeah, and so therefore, you get a dex 12 because you're kind of a physical guy with a mace and all. So you got an effective 13. He's got go ahead and roll. And you got a 9. You'll do this on a 13 or less.
I rolled an 8.
Perfect. So you got him. It's a free throw. Just spend the strength. How much strength are you going to use? To get him really out of there, I suggest pushing at least 1.
I'm happy to do that.
Yeah.
I'll
so spend
the
3 for the 3d6, and then 5 more for the push. And you just hurled a guy with enough. A guy with enough strength to lift a motorcycle. Right. So nice. He goes ass over tea kettle over that away. Right, and that whole right, so cool, and so
you'll yell "Stand down" to the crowd as he's doing that.
Okay, well, you just displayed a power and did a violent action. In fact, one would say with a push, a very violent action. So that's going to be 3d6 right there, and plus 3d6 to your presence. You're in combat, which is -1, so that's a net +2. And what you said is kind of reasonable, considering that every single person there knows that they could be thrown. So therefore add another d6, so that's plus 3d6 to your presence.
Now what we'll figure out is what my presence is.
Now you said it goes up, so there's no point in it going up by. There's no point in it going up by 1 die, right? So let's pump it up to 4 dice for where it goes up. And there's another reason for that too. That gives you immunity from the hazard.
Right. Okay, perfect. So let me. Okay.
Which is why Jerry actually shouldn't have hit you with that stun. You also have high presence. You shouldn't have been hurt by the hazard. No, you shouldn't have been taking any of that knockout. But I know that's why I didn't entangle you for exactly that reason.
Right.
Right.
Right. Fair enough.
Yeah. So
I'm just counting core effect then.
Wait. Hold on. Yes, core effects with those dice. What do we got?
7.
Shit, man, that throw, the crowd just like melts back, right? And you nailed that bunch, right?
Nice.
Jerry, you want to start affecting people in the middle of crowds? Punch someone in the face first. Right.
There you go.
Yeah.
Catastrophic breakdown.
Yep.
That's how things change.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome.
Cool. All right, everybody. Are you guys kind of getting the idea so far? But you haven't figured out how to defuse the hazard. You haven't done it.
Mm-hmm.
So you're not going to. I'm going to give you guys all just the basic rules understanding, and we can even throw in a thought balloon for the stupid reader. We can't fight this crowd guy by guy. We can't stop this crowd guy by guy. Right. So so that's the end of, what was it, 4? Yeah, that was the end of 4.
Yes.
So now we're on 5.
4.
Now we're on segment 5, and for segment 5, we've got people who go on 2 and 4, who speeds of 2 and 4. So that will first give us, the first person to go is going to be Saul. So now we get to see Saul in action. This is your moment.
All right, so I'm going to use in the van instant change to discard my clothes and all of a sudden take on the form. I'll desolidify to float out of the van and then come up above the crowd. I'm wondering, as I remember, we can stunt things like area effect and such. Can you also stunt powers that maybe fit into your wheelhouse, but aren't ones that you took specifically?
Let's deal with the movement first. For the D-Solid and for the movement, that's going to be 2 and 2. So just go on up. Okay. Then I'm spitballing those endurance costs based on what you had to go through. In other words, even if you had more D-Solid than that, you didn't have to use it just to go through a van, right? So, therefore, for people who are familiar with Champions, D-Solid used to start at a block of 40 points. Now it doesn't. Now it has increments. So, just letting you know. Then he just had to use the minimum to get that far. So, therefore, now tell me what you're doing in fictional terms before we start going can I with powers.
So I've got both flash and blast, but blinding a bunch of these people doesn't sound like a great idea. It sounds like a good way to get them trampled. Right. Blasting a bunch of people similarly doesn't sound like a great idea. And so I'm wondering if I might be able to use a hypnotic pattern of light display to basically start entrancing a group of the people to try and calm that situation.
Right. Now, what we are saying is that you cannot go and borrow a power like that. That would be something you would do with experience points and basically just rewrite your character with the appropriate amount of experience of points at that moment. You would say, wow, that's what I want those points for, and you would do that. So you got to bank before you can start doing that. But in the case, so yes, but not you at this time. The other, but on the other hands, to use your huge halo coruscating effect, I mean, for example, using the flash just right pretty much localized on yourself, so that your ordinary light show is much more spectacular, that's using a power. And so that would enhance your presence attack. If that's what you're
I know that part.
Yeah, you can definitely do that. So, you can get more dice on the presence, but you're not going to get a powers effect.
Okay. So I am going to want to go ahead and use the flash, and if I do see one of those people who definitely seems like they are one of the instigators in all of this, I want to go ahead and target them, and as the light fires, that choral music goes off as the power manifests. And similarly, if I can aid in the Morningstar's presence attack, if I can call out for thought, reason, and time.
Okay. First of all, you definitely are going to get your timing in, because your timing is very good on this. I do want to call for a quick intelligence roll, because you were in the van when... Oops. What is that?
I assume somebody had a phone going off in the background.
Yeah, it's not me. It's not Brandon.
Right. There's a phone going off in the first floor. I can hear it. I didn't think...
Yeah, we're getting it too. Yeah.
Apparently we can hear it.
Yeah.
Huh.
It's okay. It's not a croaking frog. We had a croaking frog try to play with us the other night.
Really?
For like 3 hours.
Ribbit. What the hell is that?
It was outside of Fredo's window, and it would not shut up for 3 hours.
I love it.
That's hilarious. That's why we're not like Slick Critical Role or something like that with all of their prearranged lines and jokes, right? Real people, real play. So, did I say that out loud?
Or the soundproofed rooms.
Yeah, I know.
So nothing comes through. And professional sound. Yeah.
No kids interrupting. So now we have our situation is real clear. With Xander, I have to tell you that you were in that van when you saw that presence attack. That's why I'm going to force a zero-time perception. Not an active one, just a zero-time perception, because you did get a good look on those cameras, so you've got the data to work with.
I got an 8 on the perception.
Perfect. Okay, so now you do have the mental acuity to feel like, okay, you guys have been making all your perception and intelligence checks, which is real nice, right? So we've got, that means that our comic has had some really nice expository thought balloons and captions, right? And people are moving into effective activity. So therefore, yes, you can see what you described, and in the right context, as you said, be able to target as you said. Go ahead and spend the endurance for your flash.
Okay. So flash is 46, 40 points, so that's 4 more.
Yep. Actually, it's 4d6. Yeah, that's going to be 8 endurance. Flash.
Okay, so it's 1 per 5?
Yes.
Okay. So there we go. And so yeah, I'm gonna aim it at one of the people who is causing.
Right.
It seems to be one of the instigators here.
Correct. Go for it.
And that's going to be a big miss with a 16.
Ooh. Okay. Yes. Is your flash tricky by any chance?
No.
Okay. Well, in that case, it doesn't hit one of your friends. But what it does, I will say though, that in Champions Now, everything goes somewhere. And so therefore, there are people who are flashed. They're just not the people you wanted to flash. So, but you did use a power. Everybody saw it. You still can make that presence attack.
Sure.
Right. And
So,
and you've got all kinds of things going for you. The only thing you have going against you is that you're technically in a fight. So that's -1, but you've got 3 more coming for you, so that's +2 to your ordinary presence.
Okay. And I will call out, that everybody needs to calm down. Like I described to you, but Aldo and Jerry haven't heard. The character, when he manifests his power, has kind of like a translucent stained glass kind of look to him, with a general aura of light radiating off of him. He is not who you'd want to bring on a stealth mission.
Right.
So, but he's still 3-dimensional and looks like a...
Yes.
He's not like a 2-dimensional stained glass. He's a 3-dimensional person that can...
On the other hand, that imagery is aided by the fact that all of this is drawn on a flat piece of paper.
Right, true.
Right.
And
I have an 8 on the presence.
Okay, well that's actually really solid. And so what you guys basically, what you do is you clear that particular area of the hazard. Okay, so that basically settles the people in that area down.
Okay.
Now it doesn't mean that the instigators stop instigating. It means that their ripple effect ceases. In other words, you've made the people, both of you have made the people in that immediate area able not to get, manipulated by the manipulators. Okay, which really makes the manipulators suddenly stand out, going things like, "Come on, get them!" Right, right, and so, so that's really clear. Now, I'm going to go ahead and call for a quick, before we move into Phase 6, calling for a bit of an intelligence check now that you have 2 data points to work with. The 2 data points to work with are the 2 presence attacks you've just seen. And so specifically for Alice, but for everybody, the way to deal with this hazard is to expose one of the saboteurs.
Right. Yep.
That was coming
next.
That will do it. So that's its close condition, right? For the now, I wouldn't ordinarily give that away. You would have had to make some rolls and some active attempts to figure it out. But when it rubs me in the face and what you just did, both of you, was expose them relative to everybody else. It's just so obvious now. Under those circumstances, I say, man, the roll just got rolled. The roll just got negated. It's clear that's what needs to happen. And so the first thing on segment 6, though, is going to be the hazards themselves. So all of you, Alice, what is Ivy's presence?
46.
All of you are immune to the hazard. So the places where the fighting is still occurring, people are getting badly hurt right now. Right? So that's the thing. There's like a pause. We're all looking. And you can see that people are going to continue to get badly hurt. And the first person to go, I believe, on 6. Let's see. That's people with speed 3, people with speed 4.
That's me.
Yes. So it's people with... Well, and Jerry, you can shift... You can go on with 2 and 5. Yeah, if you drop your speed right now, you can still go, because you would have had the action left over from segment 5.
Yeah, I'm grabbing one of those guys, the hooded, the jackboot guys.
And Alice, what are you doing?
I am going to be grabbing the arm of the gunman. Vines will shoot out of my hands, my fingers, my fingertips, and I'm going to tell him, feeling very vexed, and as the vines start wrapping around him and grow, they start prickling out into thorns and start growing berries on them, and start wrapping over
Number
the
one,
muzzle.
I needed to check your guys' dex to see who goes when. Jerry, dexterity?
Dexterity is blah 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 13.
Oh, Alice, I really want to do this, but Jerry's got to go first. So you're grabbing a dude. Yeah.
Yep, I grab my dude.
Roll to hit.
What did I roll there? 7.
Oh, totally. Yep.
Yeah. So I just reach out and grab him.
Now your options on a grab are either to squeeze to do damage or to throw, or some other thing. Or some other thing. If you want to unmask or whatever, you can do that too.
Right. Well, we're going to get to that in a second. But if his buddy is there.
Yeah.
If he's got a buddy close, I grab him and just toss him into the other guy.
Okay, cool. We're going to do knockback now. Okay, so
yes.
Cool. Go ahead and roll to hit the other guy. Which is just a dex roll. That's actually not an attack roll. That's just dex.
Yeah, okay, a 12 then. So I rolled a 12.
Perfect. So
13.
Now roll your strength damage, which is going to be, I believe, 5d6.
Yes.
Okay.
Here we go. Give me a whole bunch of shit. Oh man, mean mistreated. So that's 2, 4, 5.
5 core. And since this is a normal dude, we're not going to count the knockout. We're just going to say he knocks out. Number 1.
Right.
And so, but now I want you to roll 1 die.
6.
Okay. Since that's the best result you could have got, you're going to do knockback as if you had the high impact advantage. So that means you're going to do 5 hexes of knockback, which means the dude he hits is also going to take 5d6, and he's going to take another 5d6.
Ouch.
Yes.
Well.
Roll. Mm-hmm.
Roll again?
Yep.
Oh, the 5d6.
Yep.
That one is a good one. That's 5.
Well.
7.
Excellent. Well, he's going to the hospital in critical. I just want to tell you that much right now.
Right.
Okay. It's ordinary damage,
well, better him than
it's ordinary damage, not destructive. So he will not die. Right. I mean, he will get recoveries, so he'll live. But believe me, that guy is not getting up until he's released from the ward. So and the other guy is also injured. You knock them back a good 15 feet.
Awesome.
Right? So awesome. You're gonna make so now what are you gonna do? Presents?
No. You know what? I'm just gonna walk over
No,
to
you're
the
not
one guy.
walking anywhere. Your actions are all used up.
Oh, okay, fair enough. Yep, then I'll do a presence.
Okay, can you wait on it until Alice finishes and you guys can do your
Absolutely.
presence together?
Yeah,
Right.
Winter Twin powers.
Yeah. So, Alice, I love your description. Go ahead and take a +1 on your roll to hit.
Okay. So as for like the actual effect of it, I was thinking I'm willing to do it as as my 4d6 entangle, or I could do it as my plant teleport, where the plant starts to engulfs the gun, and then the gun disappears from where he's holding it, and it will appear somewhere on my body, basically.
Okay, I don't know. You've got your teleport and grab. Yeah, right. That's where you grab things away. You've already talked about that. Yeah. So
Ooh.
whichever one.
I got an 8.
Perfect. So you've hit. Now, which one? Is
Okay.
it the entangle or the gun grab?
The gun grab. I'll do
Okay.
the gun grab.
Perfect. So you got that. Spend the whatever endurance is listed for that.
Oh, and I forgot to take my +1. Okay.
Right? Yeah.
I've spent it.
And
I am down 6. Okay.
now, I'm also going to say that I'm giving you an extra die or an extra increment of effect, which would be 5 active points. You basically get anything and everything that this guy's got.
Okay.
And in terms of all of his objects. So, right, that includes his police badge.
Okay.
Right. So bam, 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 like studying your body. Right. There's the gun.
Right.
There's the unfolding tonfa. Right.
Mm-hmm.
There's this and that, and wham, right there, bam, his police badge. And you're like, aha.
What?
Right. You know why you got that extra die of effect? Because of your description.
Well, thank you.
Or if it was an energy blast, it would have been an extra die of effect. For things that aren't, you just ramp it up by 5 active points, and that would be the effect of your powers with 5 active points. So I didn't even have to make it up. I just looked at what that effect would be. So,
Awesome.
yeah.
Thank you.
So, bam, 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 bam. There you got the police badge. By the mechanics of the game, handed it to you. And now we got the presence attack.
Okay.
Well, what do you guys have
Jerry,
to
why
say?
don't you go first? You go first.
Okay, yeah, I'm just gonna say, yeah, it's ending, man. Not cool, not cool.
Is there information that you want to impart?
I'm gonna do that later because I'm planning on using my powers basically to unmask this guy and make him tell us what he did.
Right.
But for right now, I'm just basically just telling everyone to calm down.
Okay. Okay. Let's let Alice do hers then.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
So for mine, I look at him with just disappointed look in my face. I pick a berry off one of the vines that grew on it, put it in my mouth and say, since you've forgotten your job, I guess I'll have to volunteer to be an officer of the peace.
Ah, excellent. So are you just presence attacking him, or are you presence attacking the people around you?
People around me.
Excellent. So use of your powers, monologue, the works, you're not fighting. It's awesome. You've got like plus 46 on this one.
Okay, 4d6 plus 4d6.
Now, if she was like standing amongst trees and flowers and stuff like that, she would get another d6.
8.
Like, that's why Batman perches on stuff with the moon behind him. He like gets himself like, can they see the moon? Can they see the moon?
Yeah.
Okay, they can see the moon. Presence attack.
Let's
right?
see the moon.
Yeah, exactly.
I got
So
8.
Daredevil's like, there's no cross here. Fuck that. I'm going over there. There's the
True.
cross. I'm going to stand next to the cross. Right. So, go ahead. You got 8 court? Fuck. Yeah. Done it. Done
Cool.
it. Yeah. Jerry, let's go ahead. You don't even have to calm things. Right? Because the word spreads. Oh, it's a cop. Oh, it's a cop. It spreads through the crowd. And all of a sudden, like, all the undercover cop guys are like total, and some of them have already been physically exposed, right, by your actions. So it's super easy, right? All of the protesters, like the level heads among them, say, okay, don't get sabotaged, We told you about this, remember, right? And that clears things out. So that's good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just go pick one up and just take them back toward and take an ammo. And
oh right, you now if in a better world, we would take time to see how you handle this with Antigone, and I would role play her and stuff like that. But I just learned about her name this evening.
Right.
So, but all I'm gonna say is this: Antigone is like staring at you and your teammates, and her jaw. Oh, no, I got it. Her jaw is dropped.
Right.
She actually saw superheroes handle an out-of-control crowd.
Right.
Right? And not by punching their way through them. Right? So she's like... And instantly is like, this team of heroes has, but she's still spinning it as alt-right versus Antifa. So she's still
Right.
saying that. The question is, are you going to contradict her on air or not?
See, that's the thing, because
Rush that's not...
he has a schoolboy crush on her.
Right.
And he's also looking for her approval, but, he kind of wants to do right. So he's like...
What are you going to do? Now,
Antifa.
Jerry, this is perfect. I got to tell you about a rule. You can have your character do whatever you want, but you can also, and I cannot call for this, you can decide whether it rides on an ego roll.
Absolutely, it can ride on an ego roll.
Okay, it's up to you, not to me. Right?
Oh, yeah, no.
Because you know how I put in that rule? You know why I put in that rule?
What's that?
The reason why I put that in that rule is because players were doing it anyway.
Yeah,
Right.
They were calling ego rolls on their own selves during play.
Yeah.
Why did I do that? Yeah. And I was like, why are you doing that? That's not in the rules. You can just decide, can't you? And they're like, no, I want it on a roll. And I'm like, okay, that's a rule. So, so therefore,
Absolutely.
Jerry.
And I'm putting myself in the meat grinder.
Right. And you have a nice ego, though, right? And so
Jerry's
before
got
you
a
roll,
great ego.
yeah, before
That's right.
before you roll,
No.
tell us what
Actually-
success means what and failure means what in terms of your behavior.
Say it again.
Success on your roll means what, and failure means what. Basically, what's heads or tails on your thing.
Right.
If you
Okay.
roll well, roll
If I
bad.
fail the roll, then basically whatever Antigone says, that's what I'm towing the line.
Right.
If
True.
Got it.
If I make the roll, then I that's not actually what happened.
Beautiful. Let's find out.
So actually, I've got an ego of 11. An ego of 11.
11 or lower.
Here we go. Boom. Ooh, exactly. I got 11 exactly.
All right. So you do.
You toe the line, apparently.
No, he doesn't. He doesn't.
Oh.
He succeeds.
Okay.
Right.
Yes.
Oh,
Nailing
yeah,
your
she's
number
like-
succeeds.
Tell the truth.
Right.
That's true.
So you go up and you do it.
Yeah, I'll tell you, this is not actually, an Antifa thing. This is just, jackbooted cop, right? Jackbooted cop.
The jackbooted cop.
Jackbooted cop right here.
Right. He acknowledges his status honestly.
Yeah.
He just had massive presence attacks blow his hair back, so he's
Right.
out. So guys, I'm going to close it there because obviously we are up and running with plot, right? At this point, we are up and running with plot. I feel as though we are very, very deficient on some specifics, especially for Xander. Right. So in terms of play, your character did an awesome in terms of powers and stuff, but right now you are Mr. Mysterioso as far as the reader is concerned. Right. So we just keep that in mind. Not every episode is going to necessarily be imbalanced in who really got to, stand up and shine for this or that reason. And so just acknowledging, that we've got an imbalance of who we know about right now. So cool. I think the only other thing I want to know is what did Morningstar look like all decked out?
Yeah, so I think I'm gonna have him look alien, and there's a glamour that hides him when he's in his human form, but that disappears.
Right.
So I'm thinking that his people are this kind of volcanic race. So he's got like obsidian skin, with like glowing fiery eyes, and his hair is it's almost like it's slicked back, and it has kind of like a widow's peak, but it will kind of stand up, so it's kind of spiky.
Right.
So it's like if it's completely slicked back, it's smooth and almost like, it's almost like it has a wiry consistency, right? And then
Rob Liefeld drew your hair. I get it. Keep going. Right.
And then kind of medieval, kind of a Thorish kind of.
Right. Okay. So kind of cosmic medieval,
armor.
Dimensional medieval. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, okay. Dimensional medieval. Yeah, excellent. There you go. And then with the mace, right? Okay. Which has kind of like a sun, kind of a solar motif. Excellent. Or a star motif, right?
Cool. All right. More to come. And you and I by email, I'll send you the file, and you can work up the rules for them and everything.
Perfect.
So we can talk about it if you want.
You.
So, guys, thoughts on play? I know, very, very briefly. Thoughts on play first and foremost. And as I say, you did not see the now in action, for which I am deeply sorry. Yeah. But in terms of once you're in the thick of it, how is it going?
Very smooth for me. Mm-hmm. I like that a lot of stuff is defaulted to core rolls, which makes just counting the effect much more quick and effective, or efficient, I should say.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'd say like it's not as cumbersome as it was when the last time I played. Now, granted, last time I played, back in the 90s. With roommates and stuff. So, but it's not as cumbersome. It's not as ponderous. It's like you can actually get to the meat of things, and that could be, some of it could be the group I'm playing with, the person game mastering. But there is not as much of a struggle for me to interface with the system as there once was. If that makes any sense.
It does. Yeah.
So that's what I appreciated about it. It's as opposed to like some games you'll go, that's a game I enjoy playing, but I wouldn't run it.
Right.
This one I could run and not feel put upon. As opposed to like some games you're like, as long as you run it, I'll play it.
Right.
This one's like, okay, I can do that.
One of the things about it is that I wasn't spitballing the distances. I actually decided upon distances in terms of hexes. In a slightly more prepared situation, I would actually have shared with you, okay, this is about 50 hexes this way, pretty much infinite running either way on the highway, but stuff like that. I would have set up the hexes for you a little better, but every time you moved, I was hexing. Mm-hmm. So we were playing on a hex map, even though we don't have it actually physically with us. Right. So that's actually part of the skill of the game, is all for everyone to know the imaginary hex map in terms of distances. Right. So, and it's really not very hard because a hex is a person.
Right.
Yeah.
And so it's real easy to say, okay, that's 15 hexes away. You know how tall a person is. Lay him head to toe over there. It's actually pretty easy. So, anyway, just letting you know that this wasn't one of those kind of like, make it, oh yeah, you can reach him because I want you to reach him. That wasn't the logic. So, Brandon, any thought at the moment?
It plays very similar to me to, the Champions Hero System 4, 5, and 6 that I have played for years. The counting the body of the dice instead of counting an effect and a body, I can see the benefit on that. I don't know that for me it speeds me up, but I play Champions somewhat regularly, and so I am not necessarily the person that's looking at it and going, well, I need a simpler, or not simpler, because simpler is not the word. I needed a different and a little bit of a scaled back.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, let me ask you this about the game as opposed to it being scaled back.
Mm-hmm.
Does it play? Because like a lot of times, like there's always like that tug of war between like complexity and simplicity, or when people say it's smooth or the system disappears and stuff like, which is something that I don't like.
Right,
I'm
right.
right
That's-
there with you.
Yeah, yeah.
I like
that's
having
right.
a system to crunch on.
Well,
Right.
but that being said, I don't mind rules like system. But the thing is, I like to interact with the system.
Mm-hmm.
And
Right. There is
with
a
that being
there is a
said-
terrible website that fortunately is no longer exists where we actually developed a pretty good vocabulary that got away from
Right.
the problem of we got away from that question of what do people mean when they say it disappears when we see them using every piece of it. What does that even mean?
Right.
Right.
But
yeah.
with that being said, there's some games that if it gosh, I almost lost my train of thought. Basically, if you had to when you use the system, like you'll use 4th edition or 5th or 6th or this one, it plays you're still playing champions.
Oh, yeah.
You're playing champions without as many gears going on at the same time, so that the road you're focusing on, or the stuff that you're focusing on, you can see a little bit more clearly without all the the other things going on. Or actually, I should say, you need all those other bells and whistles in order for you to play this game.
I don't know who started the quote, but the game designer's secret is that people don't need our games to go and play, and that by all means is the case. In this one, I definitely can see this being, if I were to introduce somebody to Champions or introduce somebody to role playing, and Champions was our chosen venue.
Right.
I would probably go this rather than grabbing my two big blue books of 6th edition that are on my shelf right now, because it is more understandable. It is a little bit more relatable. I liked it makes very little difference in the total long run if it's a 12 segment or a 6 segment.
Right, exactly. There's tons of things that really aren't that. Yeah.
I did like that, the speed was down a little bit, and that it is just 6 segments that you're trying to, go through. For a lot of people, I know the speed chart is a barrier. For me, once again,
right? Yeah, I never minded the speed chart. Yeah,
it's really intrinsic to me, but for some people, it's really complex because they're used to D&D or something similar, where it's I go, I wait, then you go, then I know I'm going to go next, kind of thing.
Right. Well, I think sometimes some of that is just the expression of the chart. Well, when some people see it, they might be intimidated because they're like, what is this? But if you didn't tell them there was a speed chart and just, said okay, your turn to go.
Yeah.
And then they'd be like, okay, I completely get it.
There's also an interesting effect with that, which is that presence and dialogue are not subject to the speed chart. Dialogue is free. If it's not your go, you don't have to sit there mutely. You can say, I'm going to throw in my presence attack right now. Or I'm just going to say this to that guy right now. And that's fine. And so realizing that you can do that whenever, and also that there are certain other things that I put in that are in the rules, in the sort of dynamic part of the rules, whereby you can start manipulating the speed chart. The martial arts rules, for example, are all about manipulating the speed chart so that you're fighting one phase ahead of everybody else.
Right.
That's how martial arts works in this game. So I might throw a martial arts villain at you to let you know, to let you feel that the hard way, for just that reason. And so that is all I got to say. Thank you.
As for my response,
sorry. Yes.
Uh-oh.
So I think that this game falls between, like, if you are looking at the super zoomed in view of Hero System and you start zooming out, this is about halfway between Hero System and Super's Red. I think Super's Red does have more skills, which is something I like, but I do really appreciate moving no longer costs me endurance, and very basic actions don't cost me endurance anymore, because that level of minutia in Hero System gets me once in a while. I'm like, wait, I just moved how many feet? How many endurance did I just? Oh, how close am I? Oh shoot, just round it. I'm I'm just rounding this one.
Well, when you get in the weeds, you start.
I'm like, I spent at least 5. I spent at least 5 running there.
Yeah,
exactly. So I appreciate that just the powers do that. That's something I really appreciated. I think, though, as a whole, if you're dealing with someone who's pretty versed in hero system, this doesn't feel like it speeds you up that much. Dealing with very specific GMs that I play hero system with on a regular basis, and dealing with hero designer and such that I've gotten in my head pretty well. The only thing about hero system that usually gets me is the movement, running endurance movement. So
Right.
I don't feel like it's speeding me up that much.
Right. Well, the issue for me is effects that didn't come into effect here because the hazard didn't really put you in that situation. If we were here like for a hefty session and, a supervillain dropped in, one of your hunters dropped in through the skylight, halfway through that, or right about that moment, the point is that the game is built for you to come up against the limits of your endurance. Mm-hmm. So for a hazard like this to be a context in which a super fight was occurring, mm-hmm. you guys would have been in situations where your endurance was really sucking wind, especially after pushing here and there. And you would have, and then you would be in the situation of saying, I have got to put everything I've got into this punch on that guy. Because I've got time for one punch. I got to go back to this crowd. I got to stop this crowd.
Right.
I got time for one punch on this guy, and I don't know if it's going to knock me out or not. He already hit me. I dropped in my knockout. If I had pushed, I'm going to be eating into my knockout. And that's random, too. That's a die off your knockout. Okay?
Yeah.
So the point is, I want you guys in that situation where you're sweating blood and you're going, I have to choose what I have to do, and I'm up against my own reserves as well as everything else. That's why the endurance does what it does. Yeah.
Right. No, I'm not saying that that's not there.
Yeah.
That stuff is there in Hero System and here on pushing that endurance limit. It's just that in Hero System, part of that endurance limit is counting whether you can move or not, and that minutia.
Right. I agree with you about that. Yeah.
That's the only minutia in Hero System that ever gets to me.
Right.
In truth.
Right.
But yeah.
Cool.
Two other things. One thing I actually really do, and I did like this in character creation, the way that you did body and that recovery, stun, KO, and endurance is based off of your body. I do think that if you're going to scale back, that's really good, and that also can really help with people who don't know Hero System or don't know role-playing games understand, because if you go through the statistics and the very long list of them in Hero System, that can be overwhelming on people. And often when I've been GMing, I actually make people's characters. They tell me what they want to play, but then I will help envision that, and I actually think that works a lot of times in a number of games, a number of superhero games, because then you're playing on the same field rather than somebody thinking, oh, I need to be this tall and, on that ability. The other thing that I did want to get into or ask, since we didn't see it, you mentioned how damage works. And so I think the base defense is 10 on a character, right?
Correct.
Okay. And so I've got an 8d6 blast. And so without putting anything into that, my blast would be bouncing off of us. Is that correct? Because that would only come up with 8 on average.
Well, the body damage would, but that's just like in the original. You would be counting the actual total for the knockout.
Gotcha.
Right.
That's what I wasn't certain about.
And then
since we didn't get a chance to see that too
and
much.
One of the nice things that I also want to point out, though, is that if you look at the levels of knockout versus what is another version called stun and endurance, you'll notice that the levels are lower. So you actually are working with lower knockout and endurance thresholds than you are in other versions of Champions. So you actually have lower reserves.
Much lower.
Yeah. And so that's worth pointing out. You take a punch from the Juggernaut and you're not Colossus, you're at least down for the next phase, at least. Right. And so these are just things to keep in mind.
Very cool.
Yeah. Guys, thank you very much. I love your characters. We got Ivy, we got Morningstar, we got Soul, and we got Rush. And we got to see some personality here and there for all of them. We even got to see for Soul, we don't know much about Xander, but we got to see the spooky, weird, divine shit going on. And so, that's all worth it. And we got a nice feel for the area, right? Little map of the area. The artist drew the bridge, and we know where we were.
Right.
Which I like.
Awesome. Thank you, Ron. Really appreciate it.
Yeah,
thank
that was
you very
fun.
much, everyone, for joining us, and thank you for watching.
Jerry, good to meet you.
Okay.
Oh,
Don't
take care,
forget to
guys.
Good to meet you all.
Bye.
Yeah, take care.
Bye.